As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
Oh, I could lick you all day long.
Love is a very
You know,
thing.
I know that wasn't part 4, but there's no way.
Oh wait,
I'm
it's in
not
4.
gonna show
It's
that.
in
It's in 4. It's
Well,
in
yeah,
4.
the flashbacks, but
That
you
counts.
know what I mean. Yeah, guys, seriously, you all
see,
know what
they
I
had to-
mean.
I
Yes,
think
chat, we were chatting. We're sorry. It's 9:03, but we're good. Hail, welcome. How you all doing? It's Tuesday night, and welcome to the 47th episode of Toxic Tuesday. Of course, you all know why you're here. It's Rocky 4. I don't need to say, hey, do you know? You all know. You're all smart. You're all here. Welcome, Dr. Dragon, D. Bud Martin, Don't skip ya. If I fought, I fought. Jacob Ironside, how you doing? Hey, the lovely Sherry, Disease, Bush McFadden, Sentient Dildo. Hell, guys, thank you for being here early and right away. I do appreciate it for this legendary flick. But before we talk about the flick, I want to say hello. Oh, hey, Brian Yoder. I see Brian. How you doing, Brian? Nice to see you here. 70s, how you doing tonight?
I'm awesome, my friend. Superb. Life is good. I have no complaints other than the usual ones. And nobody gives a fuck anyway. So, no, life's great. I got a couple of videos out in the last couple of days and planning some future shows. And yeah, happy as you can get.
Nice.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you, sir. Always appreciated. And Mark D with a C, the man who keeps the visuals going, the builder of amazing toys, and the absolutely asininely, insanely huge collection of toys. Mark D with a C, how are you?
Oh, doing awesome. One of my favorite all-time movies. One of the best theater experiences ever. Remember seeing this with my dad, so can't wait to talk about this one. And yeah, it's just I got some clips. I'm still getting some clips from the internet, but there's some scary ones of you out there, Nick, that I did on Reface. So
oh, that's one of them. It's frightening. It is frightening. Mark, you crazy man. I thank you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Feel like that scene in Old School. I like you, but you're crazy.
Well, I'm not getting the ring with Drago, but I'll be here.
And of course, our other regular here on the panel. Well, you know him as a mod on many chats, but he's not just the red shirt, but he's, dare I say, our red shirt. How you doing? Just another red shirt.
I'm doing great, Nick. This is a blast, and this is a good movie. This will be an interesting discussion. We had a little bit of a back and forth and some comments made on Twitter before we came on here, and this will be fun, I think. But this is a quintessential Rocky movie in so many ways, especially for its day. So we're going to get into that.
Oh, yes. And guys, Mr. Sam Whitfield of the Whitfield Report will be here in a few seconds to minutes. I'm not sure which one, but he did tell me he'll be here soon. So he'll be here. But I have so many. What do you got, 70s?
So Handy Randy's here. I guess his nickname, if he was a boxer, would be Little Fisto.
Hello. All right. So before we talk about the movie, last week, for some reason, on my Terror on the Prairie one-off stream, for some reason, Stream Elements missed a direct donation, and I know he's either going to catch the stream or catch the replay, but I hate missing direct donations or super chats. So, Mr. RC from the NYC, this one's for you. Our good friend of the channel, Mr. RC, $10 last week, saying, hey, Nick, hey, everyone, hope all is well. Waiting for movie from last week to hit the big screen soon, so I'm politely skipping the stream. Have fun tonight, everyone. Well, thank you, RC. I appreciate the $10. And now I can say I read your direct donation. So thank you. I hate skipping that stuff. I hate it when sometimes the links don't catch it. But anyways, I guess now we got a good crowd in here. We could get into the ring a little bit, talk about this Rocky formula. So I just, for me, before I even talk about a story, I have so much nostalgia attached to it just based off of watching this movie as a kid. And just, I remember how towering and imposing Ivan Drago was. Like, I thought, okay, Clubber Lang he was a big man, but he was like, he was more vocal and like, he was very like, he was almost like a comic book villain. He's very animated. But then you had the reverse of that with Ivan Drago. He was stone cold, like nearly motionless, like the first half of the movie. And I know Lundgren had said, like, looking back, he wishes he had expressed a little more emotion. But I don't actually agree with him. I actually think him doing the stone cold approach worked for his character. So I actually feel like he did the role best in service to it with the stone cold killer instead of going for a little bit more of an anime character. Like I said, I get it, but it's not necessary for me. But I grew up with this fight, and it was it freaked me out as a kid seeing Apollo Creek, because like my dad, my brother, we saw these movies in order, and I was so like, I was actually mad because I was like, no, not Apollo. Like, obviously, yeah, but it's just like in the montages, just there's so many memories attached to this movie, like from the elementary years to the teenage years.
It's a life lesson. Never coach Rocky. You're going to die.
Could end badly.
It could end badly. I should have just asked Drago to coach him. That would have been the easier way of
Yep.
You just had to, Blackest Night. Well,
who's bald? What do you mean bald? I'm sensing some baldest, some Baldwinist feelings out there. I think there's some bigots.
So, what I see out of this movie is obviously not just a revenge flick for the loss of Ivan Drago, but this is also a revenge flick to avenge his lover, because we all know a few weeks back we talked about the amazing homoeroticism of the little scenes Rocky and Apollo had together at the beach, and Drago took that away, and that's a problem, guys. That's a problem. See, look at that giant cup.
That's why they had to.
And that's what Apollo will never have in his hands again, because of Drago.
They had to throw back to the third movie to get that homoerotic feeling again.
Yeah. I mean, and it is actually Rocky's personal stake in this story is that Drago kills Apollo. And yes. I wonder if they hadn't put that in the story, why Rocky would even give a damn about Drago and the match that he fights. Why would he even care? It's personal for him because of Apollo.
But you're right, and I agree that Rocky's not. It's not like Rocky's flag waving and patriotic, so he wouldn't necessarily care about the Russian American thing. Apollo cared more about that. So why would he care? It was getting stakes in this to care was a big problem in the script, I think. He's a burning arse for Apollo, perhaps, but
he did, and it showed. It showed all over this movie how much of a burning heart he really had for him.
Yeah, there was a lot of oiled muscles, though. I have to say, there
this movie they still get a lot of oiliness in this movie. You still get a lot of grease, a lot of lube. Like this movie, you still get a lot of manliness in this one.
These guys are sweating before they've even thrown a punch. I mean, is it hot up there? It must be hot under those lights.
Well, I mean, this is peak 80s, peak, Reagan era, Cold War.
Absolutely.
Also working out too was like, I'm a senior in high school in '86, so we're working out every day trying to get as big as Rocky and Drago, and it was just into the part of the culture back then. So most movies don't do that today. I mean, I can't remember the last movie that was,
no, they do not.
that huge.
Such a dildo. Oh,
yep.
The plastic fantastic.
Hey, Robot Butler, guys.
Yeah,
guys,
there we go.
Everyone. All right,
in
the chat, I want a huge in the chat for the Robot Butler. I'm just gonna do a drink for the Robot Butler, because come on, the Robot Butler.
I must admit, I wasn't a fan, but I did like the part where Paulie turned it into his personal sex slave. I thought that was quite
Yeah,
good.
with the voice. And look at this
Yes.
video camera, guys. So I have a Sony video camera just like that from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
My dad had bought, and it's over your shoulder. You look like a pro video guy,
Yeah.
and the
Right.
quality is horrible, and you got like a half hour on the tape. But that's literally what now you got you got your cell phone, which has 4K and does all and makes phone calls. So, but that was like high tech, expensive gear back then. So they're showing
It
too much
was.
money Rocky had. So robots, they kept saying in the early 80s, like, oh, robots are going to take over. Everyone's going to have a robot in their house. Sharper Image had robots, and of course it was all ended up all being
Basically,
BS.
it's just
but-
a glorified
And it wound up-
vacuum cleaner.
And I'm going to say they wound up making a vacuum cleaner out of them.
Glorified vacuum
yeah,
cleaners.
and that worked. Yeah, but
Yeah,
a safety tip: that is not a good anniversary present for your wife. Do not ever give her a Roomba for your anniversary.
No.
No, make sure you
Don't ever give her
a real
anything to
Dyson.
plug.
Give her a real Dyson, not a
Don't
real-
ever give her anything that plugs in for her anniversary. That's
Whoa, that
exceedingly
sounded
dangerous.
really wrong. That sounded really
Oh,
wrong.
I think I have a meme about that somewhere.
But you touched on it, and it's worth saying here. I mean, this is a Reagan era Cold War U.S. versus USSR film.
Oh yeah,
It
The
is
symbolism
all
is
over it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Nah, it is,
And it's tough to like relive that, growing up with that, and going through. We were worried that there was going to be a nuclear war. You had the movie the day after, and you hated the Ruskies, right? You hated the commie pinkos, And this movie has a great message at the end, which we'll get to. But you're all ramped up. Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in '80. They boycotted the LA Olympics after we boycotted their Olympics. And you had, a lot of, quote unquote hatred there. So it was the big rival. So like when the U.S. beat the Russians in 1980, I mean, you just can't imagine how huge that was, and what a, because of that rivalry. So it's, it's not the same now when it's not that same kind of rivalry. Although we're seeing some of the, unfortunately, today's news, that return to that Cold War mentality again between governments, not so much between obviously the people. I think that's what the good message of this movie is. Governments be damned, but the people, people can still hopefully get along. But yeah, it's you just can't. It's trying to get, unless you live through that. I'm trying to explain it. But it's just such a huge, it's every day was something about Russia, Reagan, the Cold War, nuclear weapons, SALT II treaties, Poland, Lech Walesa, East Germany, reunification of Germany. I had a college professor that said, well, Germany will never be reunited in my lifetime. And if we do, I'll buy everyone in the class a car.
If we do,
So
we'll
the
have
next
to nuke
semester.
them.
The
We'll have
next
to nuke
semester,
them.
you had to eat those words. He's like, sorry,
Yeah.
guys, I'm not buying all
Alright.
of you a car.
Mark's pithy comments have ruined my meme, but never mind.
Oh,
It's not a
sorry.
meme,
it's okay. We're gonna want to show this off, and then I want to get to a
but
direct
words to the
donation,
wise. Let electricity do it.
and then I want to do an introduction. So words to the wise, and now let me get to direct donation. And Whoopa Troopa $5 is coming up. Nick Weiser's review on Rocky 5. ... 1,000. Thank you for the $5, sir.
That's
I
a
do
shitty,
appreciate it.
shitty Timex watch you gave her there.
Yeah,
You never give me. And I want to welcome to the panel Mr. Sam of the Whitfield Report. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Was having Wi-Fi connection problems, but I'm here now. So.
Well, thank you for being here. You're good.
Good to
I
see you, Sam.
appreciate you
Hello, Sam.
taking the time to join us. Meet Mark. I know you've seen 70s and Justin, so welcome to a panel of dudes as we talk Rocky 4. and all right, here we go, guys. We got some oiliness with Apollo. We get to start
Wait a
off.
minute, did he have a couple of gators in the pool there?
Those are dogs.
Oh, I thought it was
Dogs,
real. I
dogs.
thought it was gators for a minute.
Nah, dude, those
Florida.
are
Is
dogs.
he living in Florida? He's Florida man.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers looks like he'd be a great Florida man, to be fair.
He does.
He does.
The funny, you're talking about the whole America-Russia thing in this, but obviously I was in the UK and I watched it in the UK. Audiences were like, I'm rooting for the Russians here a bit,
Hey, watch it.
There was a bit of support for the Russians, you know. And now from today's perspective, I'm kind of rooting for the Russians too. Really.
Oh,
And I say that
no,
as a
we're
man
gonna
who
get
loves America.
canceled.
Someone's got to be the Mad Martigan of the stream. So you know.
Oh, I know, right? Someone's got to be the mad. But
We're going to send you Siberia 70s.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to
nice
right
in
from
the
that
summer.
picture. From that picture,
what do you want
am
to
I
go
the
back
only
to
one
that?
who went? Am I the only one who went?
Alpha?
Rocky drives a Lamborghini Countach. Cool.
oh, I see. I didn't even notice that was a Lamborghini.
Well, it's not a
Can't you-
Countach, it's not a Countach, but it's
You know,
It's a
it's
Lamborghini.
interesting the debate about which letter they
really?
had to leave out.
that's
to
not
get
a
the,
Countach, is it? Or was it the one without the
pretty
spoiler?
But they took the spoiler off. They didn't put it on every one of them. No,
That's
I think that's a
true.
Countach.
Is
But
it
yeah, well, it didn't make any difference. The damn spoiler
it's
was
a
just there to
Lamborghini,
pull
yeah.
chicks.
Well, he should drive. Yeah, he should drive an Italian
didn't
car.
didn't make a damn bit of difference. And he's lucky it was running through the whole film.
He must have had a bit of a job deciding which letter to leave out of the license plate. It probably took him a month to figure out that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Adrian, what's
You thought you had problem with Twitter, right? With 280 characters. Yeah,
That's right.
Oh, hey,
We'll
look
just
at
make
this
the plate
comment.
longer.
Okay, so Zan Zoltan said, here in Argentina, we just loved Rocky. This became a classic here. Nice.
I mean, everyone rooted for Rocky, but the whole rah 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 thing was a bit, you know, like it's very 80s. Yeah.
It's the 80s. It was you know,
Look at
punk
that
of its
unit of a
time.
man there. I mean, come on.
See,
He's just
Brian,
something else.
I've only seen the director's cut.
I've only seen the
once or
director's cut?
twice. No, I've seen only
okay.
once or twice, is what I'm saying.
The Rocky versus
IV.
Drago.
Yeah, Rocky versus Drago. I mean, I don't feel like it enhances, but it doesn't really hurt anything either. It's kind of, for me, give or take. If anyone else wants to oblige on that, you're welcome to. But
What's different about it then?
I didn't
Well, it
feel like-
opens. It's
I-
very much.
I
go ahead.
have
Go ahead.
whatever-
Yep.
Oh, all I was gonna say is I have the one that came in the Rocky Blu-ray collection, so I don't
Yes,
know what edition that
theatrical.
is, but
theatrical,
That's
Okay,
the
yeah,
theatrical.
so-
I just
so
watched that one recently. Yeah.
which is still great.
Well, see, so what Stallone did, he went
Yeah.
back and he it's only streaming right now. So I think it's only, I can't remember what streaming service is on. So I just watched it tonight at double speed to get through it. And basically it opens more of the fight with Clubber Lang in the beginning. And it's got a couple of scenes in the beginning with Rocky talking outside the pool to Apollo about, you know, why they should fight. So what I think it basically does integrates a few cut scenes in. It takes out all the robot stuff. So we do miss a little bit of that, you know, a couple of those fun lines with Paulie. And what's interesting too, when he's fighting, you get inside his head. He's like, he says a couple of times, like, "Get up, Rocky, get up. You can do it. You can do it." So you're actually
Apollo's in
inside
his
his
head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apollo's in-
you hear
Yeah,
like when Rocky's
yeah.
falling down during the fight. Yes,
Yeah,
there were
yeah.
times you heard Apollo's voice. I did like that. I thought that
Yeah.
was cool. I did
Yeah.
like that. Like I said, it wasn't like, you know, it would affect the movie, like, no, not have it, but it was a nice touch.
It wasn't the
It's
first
not-
time Apollo had been inside him, of course. So you know, it's
But it's not. Oh man! But it's
I will say this. I will say this. I wish there'd been more of Apollo's training. Yeah, from Rocky 3, because and I don't. This is spoiling it a little bit, but in the fight with Drago, Rocky forgets almost everything that
was gonna
Apollo
say
taught
that.
him.
he was back to this
For-
again, not defending.
He's
and-
back to, oh, you can hit me as much as you want. I'll just punch you back.
He's a
And,
masochist.
and it
He
was,
loves
and
it.
in the 12th round, suddenly Rocky's got a head that moves out of the way of a punch for the first time in
Yeah.
just 15 rounds. 15 rounds. And I'm like, where have you been, damn it?
I know, he forgot everything. We were saying that watching it the other night. Why the hell is he not boxing like he did against Mr. T? He's forgotten everything.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
He forgot all of it. And he went right back to what he was in the first movie, which is a plotting,
Well-
lead-footed puncher. But he does finally, when he
In
gets
the last
angry
one.
enough and motivated enough, he does become the boxer that was in the ring in Rocky 3.
I think his strategy
Well-
though was to break Drago's fists on his head. That was his
On his
strategy.
face,
of
yeah.
ion.
On his face. I broke his hand.
Yeah, that's usually not a very good strategy in a boxing match.
No, but this whole Apollo thing about Apollo wanting to fight, I did struggle with this. Why he was so invested in this? I think they were trying to do two things here. One, patriotism, but the other, he wanted to be a fighter again. He just had this desire to fight, and this was an opportunity to do it. I think that's what
he said that here. Yeah. It was a Lamborghini Jalpa.
A Jalpa? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a Countach.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Vince. Yeah, it didn't look like a Countach to me, but yeah.
So they were trying to make, it was the warrior thing. He had to fight. Because it was a stupid, nonsensical for Apollo to want to get involved. Mind you, he thought it would be a true exhibition.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. Also, Apollo still felt like he needed to prove something to himself because, there was the whole, like, hey, you're past your time, you lived your moment. And Apollo, just didn't want to concede, like, man, like, this is it for me. Like,
but wait, did he beat Rocky at the end of the last movie, too? We don't know that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he beat Rocky and he thinks he can, because that whole, the whole third movie, he's stealth training. So he's training Rocky, but the whole time he's training with him to fight and to fight him again. So you don't realize it till the end of the movie. You're like, because Apollo's in fantastic shape, so you don't know what happened at the end of that fight.
That's right. Tom's got a point though. Rocky needed to fight someone white. If they made Rocky 1, 2, and 3 now, Rocky would never win any of them. He wouldn't win 2 and 3. He wouldn't be allowed to win 2 and 3. It's just impossible.
Yeah, politics would definitely played with that.
Yeah.
Well,
that actually
in my own defense, that Jalpa looks an awful lot like the Countach. I think the same guy designed them, but you're right. It is that different car. But holy crap, they look similar.
Yeah, but either way, you're going to pick up the chicks, right?
Countach is what you say when you see her. That's what the word was invented for.
Yeah. Sam was going to say something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam.
The whole thing about Rocky boxing a black man. Yeah, in Rocky 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you're right. That could not be done today. It's on one of my old channels, but I did a video review of the first Rocky in which I talked about how, the first 2 Rocky movies could not be made today, really, because it's kind of like race reversal almost. Apollo Creed is the rich black man who gives the underprivileged, white guy an opportunity to fight in the first 2, and obviously Rocky didn't win in the first. He wins in the second, but that change up in dynamic today, and it wasn't even about race back then. That wasn't the point of the movie.
Yep.
But now neither of those movies could be made, or if they were, it would be
different.
Oh yeah, hugely different. No, you're right.
Well, and that's a great point too, because in the director's cut, they have a different funeral scene, and Rocky says, "I'm here because of Apollo, and he meant the world to me. He took a chance on me when no one else would. He believed in me." So that's a great, and that's we shouldn't really see race either, right? But unfortunately, it happens too much today.
You saw very little of that in 1 and 2. You saw a little more of it in 3 because of visiting Apollo's old training ground.
Dude, they wore swim clothes together at the beach.
Yeah.
That's how much
That was the only race that mattered to them, was the race on the beach.
Yes, it was that. The only race that mattered was about being close to each other to see who had faster and who could wear their shorts tighter. That's the only thing that mattered. That's the only thing that they wanted together. And and our world was better for it when they were unified, bumping chest to chest. And I like that because, like, you see Apollo Creed, like he's a good showman. Obviously he's a talented fighter, but he knows how to bring out the spectacle. But you also see what happens when showmanship. He knows how to put on the show. He's getting the crowd ready. Like, hey, look at that! I'm coming back. Like, and that whole scene with the press conference. I love that scene because, like, you see a Creed so like animated, and Drago's just like,
and he knows exactly what he's doing, working.
Yeah, he's out of his element. It's all foreign language, and he's just like, I'm just here to fight. but he also is there to absolutely do demolition as well. And Paul's
And he's
just,
in great shape when you see
yeah.
Weathers is in phenomenal shape when he gets in the ring. Unbelievably good.
They all were.
Yeah, well, that was part of
By
the training too. When Dolph Lundgren, of course, said we haven't talked much about his background, but he's actually a kickboxer and he's a real deal. He's a real fighter, and he seriously injured Stallone while they were training for this movie. Stallone almost died, and I guess he asked him to punch him for real. So Stallone had separated, I think, part of his aorta or something. I'm just going to my rusty memory, but he could have died. He ended up going to the hospital, and it's not a guy to mess around with. And the other interesting thing, he's a brilliant guy too.
He's a super smart guy.
Super smart.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Had a scholarship to MIT, and he's a chemical engineer. I should check.
He's an engineer of some sort. Yes.
Swedish.
Yeah,
and Swedish. Sorry.
And the funny thing is even though he played a communist, in Rocky IV, he was also, and still is, very vehemently anti-communist in all the interviews that I've heard with. He seems like a really down to earth nice guy in reality.
Oh yeah, Lundgren. Yeah, of course.
Yes, he
is.
I didn't realize,
but you gotta sell the character, and he sells it well. Because if you know who Lundgren was, you would think, man, this guy. That's what again. This is where I come back to my disagreement with Lundgren, because he said he would
just don't tell them that to his face.
Yeah, I know, right?
I wouldn't be able to. I'm too short.
The Stone Cold Killer, he does it so well.
Yeah,
he does it so well. It's I don't get why he would want to change that, because it's so good.
I think they should have had a little more emotion from him. Right at the end when he says, "I do it for me," I think it should have been a little bit more of that. I think if he'd expressed some frustration about the fact he's totally under control earlier, that might have helped a little, I think. But that's just me.
I was with it, but that's just me. But we got Eric K here for $4.99. Says, redeem at a later date for one slice of pizza. Oh, Eric, of course I will. Dude, I cannot wait to hang out with you in Vegas. We're going to get food, and it's going to be delicious. Damn it, Tom.
We're all victims of this system.
I love this entrance by Apollo. It's like something you'd see like a big pay-per-view type of thing.
This is a great part of the movie because it gives you the chance to go, hit me, take it to the bridge.
Seriously, this stage setup was so shamelessly over the top. I'm man, I miss entrances like this. We need more. We need big spectacle entrances like this again. Yep. I love this type of thing, and then it really, it's a perfect mood to suit you because it leads you to the absolute reverse. 10 minutes later?
Oh yeah. Sorry, just remember in the credits, I was looking at them and it says in the credits it gives the character names The Godfather of Soul, James Brown. So actually his character is The Godfather of Soul.
Yes.
It's kind of neat. Living with a hernia.
Well, it's
there is no replacement, Courtney. No, there is no replacement. That's the answer.
Yeah, there is none. No, we've seen it in the previous movies. I mean, there's an awful lot of Muhammad Ali in Apollo Creed.
Yes.
So, speaking as somebody who watched Muhammad Ali in probably the end of his career, in the 70s and then the 80s, which were depressing. That showmanship, that gift of gab, don't try and trash talk him in a weigh-in or anything like that, because Ali could make Howard Cosell shut up, which is an achievement if you've ever heard Howard Cosell.
When they clobbered him, it was Howard Cosell invitation. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of sports. Anyway, no, there's a lot to it, and Apollo was a great character for that because they brought that bit of boxing in. And I mean, who else you could bring in? I mean, George Foreman wasn't that interesting at the time. He was basically a mean-looking guy who wanted to hurt people. He was a lot like Mr. T.
Yeah,
actually, Mr. T was pretty much George Foreman. But you have this, you have the pageantry, the spectacle, all of this crazy stuff, and this is really used to happen in boxing. It's not so much anymore. And I kind of miss it, yes. I mean, everybody here who's fans of wrestling, I'm sure, is like, man, boxing's gotten boring.
It has.
I will say, no, lately, I think I mentioned on previous Rocky shows, but I have enjoyed the last few fights from Tyson Fury. He was a great heavyweight. That was absolutely killing. He had a fight against Deontay Wilder. That was an excellent fight. That went like 8 or 9 rounds, maybe more. And those two were knocking each other down. Both were getting knockouts. It was a slugfest between two heavyweights. And usually you don't get as many good heavyweight fights, but Wilder and Fury was absolutely insane. I would say straight up after the stream, don't even can't watch it inside, it's fine, but look it up to save to watch later. It is great. I swear on that. And yes, it was only supposed to be an exhibition match. And yes, I was well aware, thanks to my buddy Abigor, about Dolph Lundgren being more educational than Bill Nye the Science Guy. This is true. How's it going, Lisa?
Sorry.
I like the
click back.
like when Rocky says, "Paulie, you got more names than whatever he's got."
Oh yeah,
he's got all these names. It's just great.
Yeah,
I remember
he's a showman.
Yeah.
When I first saw the scene as a kid, and then you had to do the whole glove thing to start, and when Drago, I was just like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I
he's
knew
taking
right
this
then
seriously.
there. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. I'll go 30 rounds with you. Yo, you got a big mouth, Paulie. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Latino Slant. What you doing in chat? Get in here. Get in the ring. All right. Anyways, back to Dolph Flick. I like they've actually kept the announcing team pretty consistent too. Because usually, it's a little thing not many people notice, but they've actually had similar announcers for the movies. I'm like, holy crap, they actually held on to the announcement team.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think about it.
And they brought in one guy for Moscow we'll get to, who is, as soon as I saw him, I was like, he's a real boxing announcer. I've seen him.
Yeah.
Barry Tompkins.
Yep.
So we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, they actually, I'm pretty sure they actually used actual boxing announcers for the ringside commentary because those guys know what they're supposed to sound like because they do it. And, I'm sure they were given a script and said, here, read this, but they're reading it as though they're commentating a fight, and they did a very good job. So that actually is realistic in these movies.
And you had Warner Wolf also, too, as a great broadcaster, so it's great to see him, too, in there. And he was, for years, he was on with the Imus in the morning. I think he's retired now or semi-retired, but he was New York City area. Warner Wolf was, let's go to the videotape. He was a major sportscaster, so it was fun to see him in the movie, too, when you went to go see in the theater. And it makes it a little bit more real, as unrealistic as this is, these fights, but it made it kind of cool to see, some people, like you said, that that are actually announcers. But yeah, any of these punches happen in real life. I mean, it's what happens when you see a fight. I mean, it's always when that one punch gets through, you're totally out. So, a lot of people probably think they could go box. And, when I just dabbled in karate for a little bit. And the first time you get whacked in the nose or across
Everyone's
the face,
got a plan until they get hit in the face.
Yeah, I kept going. No, I didn't get knocked out, but hey, that actually does hurt,
Yep.
So,
yes, it does.
Mrs. Flu had a great comment here saying the spectacle that Palpatine just fueled Ivan Drago's fire. And you know what? I'd say yeah. Because obviously you don't see him really react, but that seems like that type of reaction a cold-blooded Killer Instinct character would have is, okay, you're going to put on this show to make yourself look good for this crowd. I'm just got this reverse entrance where I come up from under the ground, quite literally. So then he dishes the beating of beatings to Apollo. That's when the tension obviously escalated in this fight. And you felt that because you're like, oh, crap. Like he delivered the beating and to death, like literal to death, and you're like, holy crap, this guy is serious. This is a scary son of a bitch. And then there's like, because he practically was like, it was basically Rocky versus a Terminator of sorts, because he's basically like man versus machine type of thing.
Because it's like, where's he going to go next, right?
Yeah,
he's got Clubber Lang, and now he's got, who can he fight next? Like, and then they pick, that's what was fun about this movie, and then of course, added to the Soviet Union rivalry back then. But everyone was pumped up to see this in the movie theater. Everyone was cheering for Rocky, like he's going to kick the commies' ass. But then you got that, like I said, that great message in the end of maybe getting past that, but it was just, you were pumped up in the movie theater watching this. People were cheering like crazy, and it was fun. It was like you were at a boxing match when you're watching this. And of course, the training scenes, I mean, those are over the top in the end too. When the great montage where they're going between the modern, the medicine, the machines, versus Rocky kind of doing the same thing, but naturally, with climbing the mountain, or pushing up the carriage, or whatever, chopping down the tree, which is one of the themes, chop them down. And so they're kind of juxtaposing those, the modern training versus
needle, then you see
you get the needle. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Which, by the way, I want to point out that first of all, Vince DiCola's score for this entire film is one of the highlights of this. For me at least, especially the training montage music.
Speaking of training montages, keep the show going. I gotta get something.
He did.
Okay,
the music, and also correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that this was like one of the first like actual like training montage sequences in film, if I'm not mistaken. Not the first, but like one of the first, I think.
Well,
to like introduce.
The Rocky movies had done training montages, but not to the extent, I don't think, that this one had.
Yeah,
there was more in this, and that 80s music. It's so 80s. The music is such.
There was more montage. This was Montage City, and speaking of montage, guys.
Oh, yo.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I didn't show us off for the first movie, so better late than never, but come on. Come on.
That's awesome.
Because Gonna Fly Now isn't in Rocky 4, I don't think. Because it's Bill Conti. It's not Bill Conti. It's Gonna Fly Now.
No, but it's just, this is still such a cool piece of wax to show off. I was meaning to show out the first movie, and once you guys mentioned music, I'm like, the vinyl. So, and then, Tom's got 2 copies of the LP. Yeah. What's up?
I refer to that soundtrack as my college study music.
I think the aim should have been with Rocky movies eventually to make them in just one long montage interrupted by a couple of scenes. If they could have made the whole thing a montage, it would have been great.
A whole montage,
the entire movie a montage,
right?
But Sam's got a great point. Yeah, the music and all the Rocky movies, and this one is another great soundtrack and great songs, great score, and it gets you into the movie too. When that training scene, it's like you want to go home and work out right after that.
It's great, but it is
no pain.
80s. I mean, just so 80s. You could with the synth drums on the songs and.
It is. I have to say, I noticed this towards the end of the movie. This is not my favorite music soundtrack. I like the music they wrote, the Conti's music in the earlier movies. It is still a good soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, but I just remember thinking this is the movie where I started to lose interest in Rocky. To be honest, this is the one where I was like, no, this is the one where I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The cover of that image is great.
It's a great image, a great picture, and it's But you got to understand. Back in the day, this is something. Just because I'm an old fart, this movie was referred to when I was back when it came out as Rocky IV, not Rocky IV.
It's Rocky in
Rocky
hospital.
IV.
He's on an IV.
It was because they were making fun of the fact that there were becoming so many Rocky movies that this one wasn't for or whatever. This was IV, and then the joke started like, someday you're going to see somebody commenting on Rocky 37 or 129 or it was never going to end. Yeah.
Well, there's definitely a joke on that. There's a joke poster on that in another movie. I'm trying to remember what it was. Where they've got Rocky as a wizened old man with the gloves. And it's Rocky 38. Yeah. But yeah, the soundtrack is a little touch 80s in places. It's that kind of formulaic with the drums and whatever. But
each song is so memorable. Burning Heart.
But
Hearts on Fire.
Show us the back of that. Show the back of that album
I'll
again.
show it again. Yeah. Again.
Go on.
Come on.
Right.
Dude.
See that now just
80s.
hold it. No, pull it up a bit so you can see the bottom half. No, I want to see the bottom. There you go. You can see the difference in height there.
Yeah, go down a little bit, Nick.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Now they try to cover it up in the movie because they film from below and they film from above, but you can see the height difference. They're like, there's no way these two guys would be allowed to fight each other.
No,
definitely not. But did it make for a good story in the fight?
Well, it did.
Yes.
But it was like, I mean, it was bad enough fighting Apollo, who's taller than Stallone.
Dude, this image. I remember, like, when I first saw where he did that stare down, looking down at Rocky. That stood out to me. Like, that was like kind of like, there's like certain imagery in the movie that sticks out, and when you see it, like, you remember, like, that was like for me that scene. I'm like, holy crap, that stone cold stare after he just absolutely demolished Apollo Creed, and I was like, holy crap, like, how is he going to beat this guy? And this is the first movie where you even see Adrian say, you can't win. I remember when I first heard those words, I was just like, whoa, she never says that. Because usually she'll be on the fence about things. She'll be on the fence, like, oh, come on, another fight. But not the words, you can't win. And I remember that, once again, another part that still, I'm like, holy crap. She really just said that.
Yeah, but Rocky has one of his longest speeches in the film is his response to her, if you remember. Yes. Maybe I can't win. Maybe the only thing I can do is just take everything he's got. But to beat me, he's going to have to kill me. Mm-hmm. And to kill me, he's going to have the heart to stand in front of me. And to do that, he's got to be willing to die himself. Mm-hmm. Rocky in that scene sets the stakes for fighting Drago. He understands the stakes. His wife is terrified for him, but he understands. I want to know whether he's got the heart to stand there and risk getting hit back. Mm-hmm. And that's a good question because it's not at all clear up to that point in this movie whether Drago's ever been hit. Not particularly.
Yeah. No, well, there's an air of mystery to him, kind of like there was with Clubber Lang, which is fine. I don't mind that. I think it's cool to leave a little mystery to characters, like, kind of where did he come from? Like, so at least definitely some mystique. Like, and that's something we're lacking nowadays. It's like, it's like I said, backstory, but not every single character and their mother needs it, because that's, in some ways, we're literally getting there with some stories. Look at you, Batman. And
we don't know, but it would be interesting to know what he's in. We know he's an amateur champion. Did it say he was world amateur champion? It'd be interesting to know what his fights were like in that. Whether obviously there's less rounds, and the competition's more. In some ways, is probably more regulated. Mm-hmm. These fights are exhibition and then unlicensed, so anything could happen in them.
Right.
Those are.
I can say this about amateur boxing, right up through the Olympics, is that they wear the headgear.
Yep. So it wouldn't be.
So their temples
been properly hit or cut.
Right. He's never been hit flush on the head, probably with a heavyweight's punch. I've been slapped in the forehead by a heavyweight, and my sinuses bled for 2 days.
Oh.
From being backhanded by a heavyweight.
Wow.
And here, put these gloves on and see what you could do. Whap. Yeah. I got about 4 of them in the head, and I went, I'm done. Take these off. So, no, getting hit by somebody that size with boxing gloves on I mean, Mike Tyson was right. I mean, Mike Tyson was one of the most powerful punchers of his day, but even Tyson said, everybody's going to plan until they get punched in the face.
Punch in the face, yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who knocked people out with either hand, and he's like, yeah, but getting punched in the face could ruin your whole day. So, this is not, it's hard if you haven't, you're right. I mean, I know somebody said if any of these punches were landed in a real fight, that would have been it, done, over, finished, bye. And that really is true. I mean, these are exaggerated in the sense of nobody staggers around the ring getting hit the way Rocky gets hit in these movies ever. That just doesn't happen.
Knocked down and popping back up.
Not even the real guy, Chuck Wepner, who was the inspiration for Rocky, could take this much punishment. He actually had to learn how to get his head out of the way.
Mm-hmm. So is this the longest speech that Rocky makes in any of the first 4 movies?
I think it might be.
It might be, yeah.
Well, the one with Mick in the hallway, too. He likes this camera angle with the
What
steps.
about my prime?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that was a pretty long one, too. Yep.
Yeah,
that is probably
almost the same kind of scene in some ways.
There's a sharp dresser here. Sharp
Big
dresser in this movie.
Big speech, impactful death, sharp dressing, montage city, and then a fight for the ages. And I want your guys' opinions. Now I'll start with Sam. Do you count this as a Christmas movie, even though it doesn't really emphasize on the holiday? But you see a tree at Rocky's training room, and they announce the fight on Christmas Day. Do you see it as a Christmas movie? It doesn't really have any themes, music playing, but that's always been subject for debate. What do you think, Sam? Christmas movie or not for Rocky 4? Sam, or screen I think froze.
He's
Mark.
frozen, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well not like Die Hard is, but it never has that Christmas vibe. I mean, it's even though it's set on Christmas Eve, and I think did this open over the summer? I think
opened in
was
November.
This a July movie?
No,
it was a November movie.
So
there we go. That's my memory for you. Yeah, I guess they were shooting for that, but there's not enough Christmas stuff in it to get that feel. Even though it it just has that one that one quote, and they're like, why we're fighting Christmas. That's what they told me. But yeah, I don't think of it as a Christmas movie.
I don't either. Even though the robot at one point had a Santa Claus beard on.
Oh yeah, you're right. It did.
Yep.
But
credit to Mrs. Redshirt for spotting that one. She spotted it.
Tom pointed this out earlier, and I meant to highlight it. I forgot that they actually filmed the fight for Rocky Balboa at an actual match at Nation Olympic. Dude, that's cool. That's really cool. And there's Sam. We missed you, Sam. Welcome back. So, all right, Sam, do you count this as Rocky 4 as a Christmas movie or no?
Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot that this took place at Christmas. Well, I mean, only part of the movie took place during Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. Like
most
the final fight did. But yeah, I mean, I didn't the first one take place around Christmas too, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was July.
I thought it was New Year's.
No, it was July. First Rocky was set around July 4th.
Oh no,
because it was all about the independence celebrations, the bicentennial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
Thanksgiving to New Year's. All right, so somewhere around. Okay. Yes, we got montage make out. See, hey, you see the progression where the movies have gone with montages. But go on, Sam.
I noticed that they tend to play around with like the time change a lot in the Rocky movies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like especially from like 4 to like 5 because 4 takes place in like 1985, and then we're basically supposed to like believe that he hung around for like 5 years by the time Rocky 5, which yes, I know it's the worst film in the franchise and whatnot, but
what? No, Drago. No.
I think he meant Rocky 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Tommy Rogers.
Yeah,
Tommy Gunn.
Somebody
Yeah,
Mars.
it's
Sorry,
Mars.
Yeah.
I misunderstood you. Go on.
Oh, look, there, we're back.
No,
we're back
it's-
with the cuddling. We've got the
it's-
cuddling. Oh, damn, it's gone.
Hey, it's not-
Oh, here we go, here we
Here we
go.
go. Oh, yeah.
Just teasing
Hey,
us. They're
hey.
teasing us.
Hey, it's not gay. It was just the 80s.
But look at that smile.
It was
Look at that.
80s gay.
Yeah, and they were enjoying it. So
Oh, it was consensual. Well, of course it was consensual because Apollo had to get a rise out of him to have that eye of the tiger, as he said. Eye of the tiger, Rocky.
Yep.
Man.
The thing I was read today too was that Weathers almost left the movie, and of course he had a falling out with Stallone, and he didn't allow his likeness to be used in later movies. So they said Lundgren threw him in the ring in one of the scenes, and he was. I mean, of course, Dolph is such a massive guy, as big as Weathers is, and they shut down filming for 4 days to try to get Weathers back to the movie. So he had to tone down that fight a little bit to get him back. So there was a big controversy, I guess, while they were doing that fight. So and then Weathers, I think it was at one of the later ones. He wanted to use him in the movie or some of the film, the old clips, and Weathers said no. So there's something
Weathers
something
was
there.
requested that they touch tips, and Stallone said no. We're just going to hug. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait down. It's okay. We can't all be perfect. We can't all be perfect. And number 6, yeah, Balboa, according to Tom. Man.
There's such a ton of member berries in that montage there. It's pure fan service. It's great.
It
Right?
is, but
That's a great montage. Yeah.
And there's
Is this
Dionne
movie have the
Warwick.
most
That's
montages
Dionne
out of the
Warwick.
Rocky?
it does. It easily has. I think this is when they were doing hold on. I'm trying to think of which song this was for. It was Burning Heart, I think. Was it Burning Heart?
Yeah,
for
Burning
this
Heart.
one?
It was
It was
Burning
Burning
Heart.
Heart. I think it was
Burning
Burning
Heart.
Heart. Because they were talking about the two worlds collide, and we had to understand like his side of the whole story.
There's an interesting comment in Wikipedia, whether it's true or not, that Peter Cetera of Chicago wrote Glory of Love for the ending of Rocky IV, but it didn't make it in, so that ended up in Karate Kid 2.
Well, they could have used it for Paulie and the Robot.
They could have. Glory of Love. Glory Hole of Love.
Yeah, that
if
would've
they
worked.
did. They could have Apollo and Sly hugging on the beach. Glory Hole of Love. I mean, it's...
And why does the kid have a bike in his bedroom? Why is his bike in the bedroom?
It's a retard.
Notice that. What's it saying there? Something I know. Something I can't read it. Anyway. Oh, and the other reason for the robot being in the movie too was they said Stallone had one like that helped his autistic son, so he wrote the robot into the movie. Of course, now in the director's version, then years later he said he hated the robot. So they
Much like
they
the
pulled those scenes
Turtles, like he writes his life into these movies. I love it. Each
Robot had a car
Yeah.
radio and a phone installed.
Hey,
There was a
I
phone.
gotta
And
add
then-
a little
yeah, the
piece
phone.
myself.
A
every
landline
movie.
phone, though.
And they said the robots was a member of the Screen Actors Guild. So yeah. So-
Well, he
Ooh.
actually put in
Hey.
a better performance than most of them, most actors. So.
And they said
Ooh.
it toured with James Brown in the 80s. Yeah.
Tom's got an interesting set. I don't know about that, but You're the Best was written
Yeah,
for Rocky
talking
3,
about the
but
Peter
rejected
Cetera.
for Eye of the Tiger. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then in
Tom
turn, You're
knows
the
his
Best
stuff,
was
yeah.
used in correct. Of course, yeah, right. Tom does know his.
So
His
Karate
two
Kid gets all the
movies.
cast-offs from Rocky, is what they're saying.
Rocky.
It's not good enough for
mooches.
Rocky. We'll give it to those Karate Kid guys.
I like no.
We've got a
Obviously
spare
now-
member of Chicago lying around. You can write something for Karate Kid.
What's up,
Eric,
Jeff?
is Eric Carmen available? Or Kenny Loggins is
know.
in this one, though. He's in this one. Kenny
Loggins
Loggins.
is, yeah. Loggins is. Oh, yeah, because with this one, now
Hearts
it's
on
at
Fire.
Christmas.
It's Kenny Loggins.
But he has to go to Russia because think about all the other movies he's had the home field, hometown, the comfortable neighborhood. Now he has to go into what's considered enemy lines, and they all advise. Like I can't remember if that was out of the theatrical cut, the scene where he goes to the room, they talk to him. They're like, "No, you shouldn't go to Russia." And Rocky says, "They're like all lecturing him on why he shouldn't go." I think that was part of the director's cut only.
Doesn't he say it can't be as cold as Canada?
As a joke there, by the way, at the expense of the Soviets, when they fly in on a 1930s Douglas DC-3
DC-3.
propeller plane, that was an ancient airplane long before I was born.
And
I'm
maybe we
older
gave
than
him
dirt.
that.
It wasn't even
Maybe-
a DC-9.
Hey, they probably had it since World War II. We gave them a few
That's
of them
what I
on.
was gonna say. Was that
yeah,
whole-
yeah.
If you see
No,
in the
that
private-
is so funny to me because that is just this ridiculously ancient airplane, and this is what Aeroflot's going to fly them into the Soviet Union on. Oh man, the
That's
Russians
one
had
of
to
the
be going,
greatest
oh, we have
things, yeah.
jets too. We have jets too.
And yet they've got all this computer equipment to train Drago.
Yeah, but that DC-3
Yes.
is one of the greatest airplanes ever built, though. Yeah, and
So
then
It
we used that
is.
Yeah, we
It
used in
is, and
Vietnam.
it's still
I caught that,
flying.
too. It
It's
was- it's still-
Yeah.
Can anyone
It's still
pronounce
flying, but
the
it
name
was-
of
it's-
the Russian town
yeah.
that I put in the private chat?
Krasnogorbinsk.
Krasnogorbinsk.
Let me look here.
I'm not gonna try.
Rocky Krasnogorubinsk. Krasnogorubinsk. Krasnogorubinsk.
Krasnogorbinsk. But we all know it was really filmed in Wyoming. Eh, Tom?
I thought some
And
of
they
it was
got
in
all of their
Canada.
cars, and those are Mercedes Benzes. The Russians did not make those; they got those from the Albanian mafia. The Russians drove around in Zill limousines,
That's
and
right,
they
it's Zills.
sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Just
awful.
like every
cars.
other Russian vehicle. Yeah.
But
Oh,
guys,
yeah,
he
exactly.
doesn't got a spar. What's he gonna do? He doesn't have a spar. So how's he gonna train now if he doesn't have someone to spar with? What's he gonna do?
He can
Does
fight
that mean
these demons. He can spar with his own.
does that
Fight
mean
against
he's gonna
nature.
have another montage?
Oh, I can feel one coming.
Yeah.
I smell a montage.
Do not come.
Do not. Oh, dude, I'm gonna come with a montage. It's gonna be huge. This is,
What's
this
his
is
jacket?
below
What's
you.
on his jacket there? Oh,
It's
there's
a don't
something
tread
the-
on me. Don't
No,
tread
yeah,
on me.
it's a don't
patch.
tread on me jacket he's got on. I noticed. Yeah, that he turns around. There it is.
Very fitting since he's in Russia with in the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
country.
Well, that was a subtle dig at Russia too. We got to show a couple of these refaces here. So here's one with Nick.
Oh,
Oh, that's ugly. That's ugly.
Who's the other face? Who's the other face on that?
Mads.
Rocky.
I put
That was
Mads. That's Mad as Rocky.
Oh.
Got them the right way around then.
And here's Nick in the look like
there it is.
Wolverine there.
It looks like a perverted form of Hugh Jackman there.
I was about to say, yeah, it looks like
looks like Wolverine.
it looks like Wolverine.
He does. It's Wolverine, right?
You're pumped up there, Nick. Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
Nick.
good.
My God, Nick. Who knew?
Dude, I was look at me pumping right here. I mean, hold up. I gotta get rid of the screen here. Come on. Oh no,
Marshmallows.
hold up. I gotta remove the screen just so we can show people. Nope, it's not letting me show it. Damn it. All right, never
What are you
mind.
trying to show?
I was gonna show my background screen, but it wasn't just.
It
letting me
doesn't work.
exclusively.
yeah. You can't.
Huge Jack.
You'd have to
Yeah.
import it as an overlay. You'd have to.
Wolverine's goofy cousin. Yeah. Yeah.
You'd have to bring it.
Yeah.
I'll bring it as an overlay. Yeah.
You're more Liev Schreiber than you are Hugh Jackman.
Huge Jack. Man.
Huge Jack.
Yeah,
He got pretty big. Yeah.
Huge horseman.
Your marshmallow rock. Yeah.
One thing I liked about this is Duke gets more stuff to do.
Oh yeah, no,
It's really
Duke
good
is awesome.
that, yeah, because he's shortchanged in the other movies. Maybe the first one he's got quite a bit, but 2 and 3 he doesn't have much.
Nah, but number 4 makes up for it a lot.
Yeah,
Like
he does.
you really feel how essential he is to Rocky again, is because he talks about how much that when Apollo died. Oh, here you go, part of me died. So yeah, I
He's
I
good in this
love-
movie. Yeah.
He is great, yeah.
yeah, he was.
Once again, Rocky knows, and this is once again goes to Stallone's credit as a writer and director. I don't think he wrote this one. I know he directed this one, but
He did write and direct this one. Yep.
so
Yeah,
he wrote
he
this
did.
one too. I know he directed it. Okay, but he knows how to balance a good amount of screen time. And if there's a character who doesn't get a substantial part of one movie, he makes sure he makes up for it in another movie, as we just mentioned for Duke. So it's great that the supporting characters they all had their part and they all matter.
I think in a minute we get to see Tom's family when they're watching him as he goes out training.
Oh, the next shot, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom's
Right, there you
Tom's
go.
mum and dad. Yeah. Actually, the one in the short one could be Tom. I'm not sure. I mean, that might be Tom.
Tom might have
Well,
been
he's
the one
in
in
the
the
chat. I'll
scarf.
let us know.
There's Tom's house that he's broadcasting from now.
Marvel's original concept, the badge. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Now you see the machines getting ready for Drago. So Rocky is all, he's wood, he's fire, he's snow, he's on the ground, and then Drago is basically just being a human Terminator working all machinery.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, this kind of stands reality in its head because it's the Americans that would have all the high tech, not the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they would steal it from the Americans, but but yeah.
I think this song was the training montage song from Vince DiCola here at the scene.
Yeah.
I think that's
This
the
is
one.
a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one for this one. I love, dude. Seriously, I love this
one is
soundtrack
it?
so much. It's literally just called training montage.
Oh,
I mean,
right, okay,
if
right,
Tom wants
right.
to correct me,
It's good,
he'll let me know if it's in our song. But I swear it was for this scene. It was instrumental
And
training
there's
montage.
Tom out heading down to the grocery store. Then.
Correct me. Tom,
Everyone
if I'm
sing it
wrong.
now.
So what does everyone think of Bridget Nielsen then in this?
Was she married to Stallone at this
She
point?
was. I think she was, wasn't she?
Because this is
By
after
this time?
Cobra, right?
I think she was married.
Wasn't
He
she in
was-
Cobra? Or no, was
Yeah.
that...
I think they were married by now.
I do not know.
Wait,
But,
I knew she was married to Flavor. Oh yeah, that's right.
Cobra,
she was
yeah, she was
married
in
to
Cobra.
Stallone.
Yeah.
I thought she was
Beverly Hills
a
Cop
bit
2.
part in Cobra and Beverly... Yeah.
She
So,
was in Cobra, yeah.
she's
So
pretty good in
basically
this, I
putting-
think.
Basically,
was
putting her
alright.
in this movie was nepotism. All right.
It was, but I think she was okay for the part, I mean, she had the right look and the right attitude.
She's tall enough to marry Drago, right?
That's right, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Boston
exactly.
voice. All right. Well, we got another direct donation, and this gentleman here, I read his one earlier. RC, I don't know if you're just jumping in, but I read your last week's direct donation at the beginning of the stream, but because you are here now. RC from the NYC for $10 says, "What's up, Nick? What's up, panelists? What's up, chat? Hope everyone is well, and I hope you are better, sir. And always remember, in Mother Russia, boxing is watching you." And he did big eyes. Thank you, RC, for the $10. That is
I think
awesome.
Tom's right. I think Cobra was 86. It was after.
Cobra,
this.
okay. She was
After
she
this.
was in
I
Cobra.
thought
There
it
you
was the other
go.
way around, but he's right.
Thank you, Dad, man. Thank you. Pretty red so now I like the noise that Drago when he gets like anytime
This is what we'll all be like soon when all the gas dries up. And this is our future, This is our
Stallone, I can hire Stallone to pull my car around.
future. You can, yeah.
all right.
Basically,
is
yeah,
that-
that's
My tank is down
Go
to like 50 miles. I'm dreading going to fill up my truck.
I filled up the other day. It was a night.
Okay.
oh dear, yeah.
I got a minor complaint, and it's not something that affects the movie. It's just something I wish they stuck with. I wish he kept the beard for the fight.
I know that would have been awesome.
Because he like I thought that was a cool look. Obviously, since he was out of his element, he was going all the way there, changing his look, changing his tune, his mood. I felt like stick with the look, like kind of completed it, and then obviously he brought it back a little bit.
Because Apollo's not around, he has to handle his own wood.
Yes, he has to become a
I
whole
love that.
other.
I love that
whole
part
other
of the training
monster.
scene. It's like my friends were like, "Should we cut down trees and try to walk around in the snow to train for hockey? Like we're on the hockey team." They're like, "We wanted to copy some of this." And then one thing we did, like when we were pushing my truck around down the street, up and back, and without power, obviously, to train. And the neighbors came out like it was kind of like a dead end street. Like, what are you high school morons doing? Like we're training for hockey, you know.
I thought that was just in your day, in your era of hockey, and I'm not suggesting you're older than me. You're not, but
Yeah.
it was beer and cigarettes was training for hockey in those days, wasn't it?
No, we weren't in Slapshot yet. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't in the
This
NHL
was high
yet.
school.
You weren't
Yeah,
in
this
the
was high
NHL
school.
yet.
This was
Yeah.
high school before we.
Yeah,
Before
it was
we
only beer
yeah.
then, just beer.
Okay,
Well,
Sentient Dildo probably doesn't like Rocky's side of it because he's wearing too many clothes.
Oh,
But
look at
with
that,
Rock-
Luke.
With Drago,
want
he's a bit more
I-
revealing. He's got the
I
Drago's got
want
the
to kiss
seductive
you.
eye.
I want to
Drago's got a
kiss you.
seductive eye. He opens his mouth a little, so Drago's
Yeah.
he's got a little bit
He's
more
got pouty
going.
lips, and he goes, "I want to kiss
Well,
you."
well, of course, Dildo's aroused because he's from Croatia, and Croatia, I think, is relatively close to Mother Russia, if I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
it used to be part of
That's
Yugoslavia,
fighting talk.
which was
That's fighting talk.
Yeah.
yes, another communist country behind the Iron Curtain. Yes.
You're
Stallone
used to
uses
having
a-
Russian guys kiss them while they do them. from
Stallone
behind.
uses a real tree. Schwarzenegger uses a hollowed out tree commando. Oh yeah, that opening scene where he carries the big log at the beginning.
Mm.
What a memorable opening scene. Seriously.
I'm
And
sensing
then-
a theme though. Big wood. Lots
Big
of
wood, yeah. Watch out! They're gonna
Dragos.
smell you. They're gonna smell you coming.
Is
We're
Stephen
downwind from
Walton
them.
in the chat? No, sorry. Stephen, where are you?
So that is, if that's true, Dart Scipio, that is huge. Like man.
You could fit Nick in it, really.
Oh man, 70s, why you gotta be shitty like that?
It's, just, there we go.
Oh.
Huge arseman. Huge arseman.
Huge Jackman.
Huge jackoff.
Huge Jacko. Oh, but see now
was
this
so
is where
happy to find
Rocky
that
starts to he starts to get a little bit more revealing for Sentient Dildo. See,
Well, he's
look,
wearing
see?
those tight pants before. The pants before when he sees Adrian.
Yeah,
those are-
but
that-
now you
those
got
are
tank
tight
tops.
pants.
Now you got tank top. You got tank top. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
Hearts on
start
Fire right
singing.
here. Yes, he said told her Hearts on Fire about to play. So okay, yeah, Hearts on Fire. You got the sweat on the arms. You got the tank top. You got the beard
It's a
coming
good
in.
look.
Yeah, he's
Look
got
at
the
those-
big
look
face
at those
going
arms,
on
yeah.
too.
I mean, the
Yeah,
sweat
try
all the
this at
time.
home, right? I mean, come on. And
How do
Paulie's
you let
earning
him
his
go?
keep there.
How do you let him go? That's what I
I'd let
want
him
to
go.
How
Come
do
on,
you let
Paulie,
him
surprise
go?
him.
I mean, these guys
Sucker.
we're laughing, but these guys are actually doing this shit too. It's like
I know. There's
try
the bit
doing
that
any of
coming
that
up-
stuff. I
the
mean,
bit
they were
coming
like
up where he does
all
this,
out.
that-
I mean, yeah, with the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so
Yeah, that's
holy
not-
crap, Batman! I hope Robin didn't have to train like that, right? It's like
Yeah, I got tired
Man.
walking over to the gym today, so it's
yeah, it was almost
walking
like
to the
when you park at the gym and people are trying to get the closest spot. I'm like, you're going to the gym.
you're going to the
You don't need a
gym.
close spot, right? Yeah,
Right.
because it was you 70s because you were tired walking to the
I
gym.
get tired
right?
just walking there. Yeah.
Wanting a close spot to the gym is like when you go to like McDonald's, you order all that food, and then you think, okay, this Diet Coke will cover everything.
That's right.
Can
Can I have a large,
I was
a
right.
large
I got the
Diet
Diet
Coke?
Coke.
Right. A large Diet Coke.
After I get my Big Mac, my 30 chicken McNuggets, extra quarter pounder, a McFlurry, a side order of Shamrock Shake. Oh, and one additional kids meal that's for me, not for my kid. But
And two
I'm
large-
trying to, what?
And 2 large fries.
Two
Yeah.
large fries, extra salt on those
And a
fries,
couple of Buddy Burgers in
That's
case
right.
I'm hungry later.
and then a large Diet Coke.
Yes.
And a bag of rocks.
Not a bag of
Oh, Sensei Jojo doesn't agree about Rocky. He's all about the Drago. He wants that Russianness in him. Oh, you know what? Drago takes roids, bro. He's not natural.
Here's the scene. Here's the shot.
that
there.
scene
So,
there, that shot there.
The mango you would get from Drago would be like artificial, like mango, like whereas Rocky's all natural.
We think, right? Yeah. What are the over? What's the over under that that Stallone was taking, imbibing a few illegal steroids at that point too?
Illegal substances.
Of course, no. Actually, it might have been legal back then. Actually, I think steroids were quite a while. They were legal to buy. So, but yeah, that's incredible. We all went home. We tried to do that. It wasn't happening. Yeah.
Boosh, this is all part of the homoeroticism of the show. That's all that it is. I guess the best thing I could say about it is just go with it. Or just pretend go on earmuffs if you must. Go on earmuffs if you must. But no, seriously, I think I remember my younger brother tried to do that as well. And I'm just like, and I remember he's just like, how? That is psychotic to do something like that. Like, especially since he was a bigger guy, so you have a heavier body.
Wait a minute! I love the fact that Duke's sweating like hell there too. He's just standing watching.
Working. He's excited.
Oh, that's right. Somebody's got.
Since he doesn't got Apollo anymore, now he's got a whole other
Someone's
man.
got to be lubed up too. Yeah.
He's like, oh, Hadrian, I see what you're all about now with Rocky. I totally get it now. This is making a lot
training
of
scene
sense
was
here.
just so good. I mean, in the movie theater again, it was just like you were just so pumped and just such a great ending to the scene when he climbs the mountain and he gets it done. He's on, there's no steps in Philly, but it's great cinematography and great idea that to use that mountain. He gets away from the KGB; they can't catch him, and even though Drago's quote unquote cheating, using all that high tech stuff, and a lot of this equipment they ended up using. And I was just checking too. Phelps and Ryan Lochte also used this idea to stay in a cabin out in the wilderness to train for the Olympics too. So there's something about this, where you're getting back to nature and you're just you're
cut
turning
off from
to your
all
roots.
outside distractions. Absolutely cut off. Yeah.
The opposite from that. The training scene was at Rocky 3, where he's got the everyone there selling merchandise, and
different animal. That's what I mean. Rocky was becoming a more serious fighter. Like he was doing all these things differently. Obviously, guys were mentioning. Obviously, he backtracked from some of the methods he learned. But as far as like how he is preparing on a mental level, he did become a whole other character. I mean, obviously, he had to change up how he trained. He obviously had a different look. He definitely had to and then of course he went to Russia, so he wasn't in the home field advantage anymore. So he did all these out of his element things to, prepare for Drago. He did everything that he was not known for doing. I thought that was really cool. And once again, great contrast. And yes, guys, Gary, I wish he was here, him and Dustin, but Dustin has stuff he had to do at home, and then Gary obviously had some issues going on, he's injured. So Gary,
was trying to do some of the training stuff from Rocky 4. Unfortunately, we told him not to do that. Paulie dropped him down the stairs.
His age, we told him not to step onto the sidewalk at his age, and this is what happens.
I hope you're feeling
He'll
better.
He'll be in
Gary.
ICU for a few days.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to let.
But yeah,
Dolph
actually,
punch her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what you're talking about, Nick. I noticed that there is a line in the film when I don't know if it's Adrian or Paulie asks him, "Why the hell do you want to go train in Russia?" He says, "Because I want to go someplace where I don't have anything to think about except for him."
Yeah, didn't
so he volunteers to go. Yeah, he volunteers to go to Russia to train where he can focus. So that's a different Rocky from Rocky 3, where he has everybody running around and it's all merchandising. And I expected Mel Brooks to walk out into the room at one point as and Dark Helmet's going to be there.
Merchandising.
This is so commercialized for him, and now here he is. He's in the middle of God knows where, Russia, and he's taking whatever he could use to train with. There's a mountain, I'll run up it. There's snow, I'll run through it. That kind of stuff. And it shows a different mentality for him. He's taking it seriously. So I give you that. That's what I got from the training montage here. Is basically they're trying to turn Drago into a robot with all their scientific laboratory exercises and everything they're doing. And he's out there basically, just avoiding the KGB, running away from the KGB, figuring, hey, if I can outrun them, maybe I can outrun
Now
Drago.
there's a sniper shot rings out.
Well,
Drago!
But I actually, that's why I would like to have seen just a little bit more reaction from Drago earlier when he's getting treated, as you say, like a science experiment by them. If he just occasionally showed a touch of irritation or whatever, but no, he's stoic until almost the very end.
See,
I
I'm
get
good
it,
with that. I'm good with that.
I'd like to have seen a little more.
Well, he's holding it inside, I think, and then, but yeah, I kind of agree with Nick on that one. But it'd be interesting to see either way. But I think it's kind of then he snaps at the end, so that's what they're kind of showing with him not showing any emotion. But I'm not going to get in an argument with Mr. Lundgren if he thinks he should have shown more emotion. I'm not gonna. Plus, the guy he had a Fulbright scholarship to MIT, and then he started. He was bodyguarding for Grace Jones, and someone saw him, and so then he started doing some work, acting work, and got a few small gigs. So, I mean, the guy would have been a brilliant,
Working for Grace Jones was too scary.
yeah, but he would have had a brilliant, career, I'm sure, in academia or in his field, to get a Fulbright scholarship to MIT. I mean, I could imagine him showing up at like the first day with the professor. Like you always picture it's going to be some geek or nerd or no offense MIT. I have anyone that went to MIT, but I could imagine the professor like. You're here for what?
Jim's down there. Yeah.
All right. Before we carry on,
Expendables 4, isn't there?
Yeah, it's coming within the next year. It wrapped filming a few months ago. And Mr. Dave Serta for $5 says, in anything, if you want to go from just a beginning to a pro, you need a montage with exclamation.
Even Rocky had
a montage. Yeah, right. Thank you, Dave, for the $5. No, there was montage and montage. Their montages had a montage. Like that's what I love. This movie.
It's the montage of montages. It's very meta.
Thank you, Dave. Yes. I agree.
Wait. We got to pause it here.
He closed his eyes too.
That's not nearly as
You're all hard, man.
Oh,
I want to be you. You're all hard, man.
He's like, you only get the cheek. You're not Apollo. you only get the side cheek. You're not Apollo. You don't get the up close like chest bump. You don't get to have the fancy shorts. You don't get to do the out of shirt training. So see, yeah.
But this is a nice scene. We're joking, but this was a kind of a nice scene too.
Oh, it was.
You think, we're joking, but Rocky, you think he could be, he's not going to die, but you don't know, right? I mean, maybe they're going to have him lose.
Typically, Paulie's such a horrible guy that this shows a sensitive side to him that we didn't know existed.
He's got to make up for Apollo.
Yeah.
He's got to make up for Apollo, man. That's how a cookie crumbles.
Well, Apollo kissed him.
Yeah, it's
Apollo kissed Paulie.
Toxic man flu. Hold on, Seth. For $5, just sorry I'm late. I was pulling out Culture's waffling dildos line from yelling at park cars last I speak of waffles. How's it hanging, 70s?
As I said in the chat, it's hanging low.
All right, hanging low. Thank you, Tox, for the $5. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Sam. I know you've been patient.
Well, regarding Paulie, one of my complaints with just the Rocky film series in general is that like Paulie is one of the most inconsistent characters ever because in Rocky 1 you hate the guy, in Rocky 2 he redeems himself, in Rocky 3 he does nothing for like Rocky 3 and 4. And then in Rocky 5, like he's pretty much the reason why they're forced to go back to the hood and Philly. So
that's a great point. Yeah,
it's like, I know that like the films aren't masterpieces, but I mean the first one did win Best Picture, so it's like, come on. Obviously, Sly knows how to write a good film. But when it came to Paulie,
thank you, Tom. I was going to mention this. He has a big breakdown. he had a big breakdown in 3 because everyone else was living the glory life that Rocky had except him, and then Rocky's like, "Hey, all you have to do is ask."
Yeah, I think Sam's got a point though. I mean, he has
I
the
get what he's
breakdown,
saying.
but that's early on,
it-
and then it's done. He's like,
Yeah, because Rocky 2, he's kind of like that too. So he goes, he's good, he's bad, he's good, he's bad. He's kind of fluctuates, and that because you needed him as a foil at certain points. So Stallone just kind of used him as that, to bring out those character traits. I think, yeah.
And to Tom's point, I know Tom. I know people like Paulie too. I think we all do. But as far as like writing goes, I don't know. Like Paulie's has just been like so all over the map. Like if you're gonna write an alcoholic character, you could at least write him a little bit better. So.
See, I don't know who did the artwork for that poster, the banner of Drago there, but that is beautifully done as a Soviet style.
Yeah.
Poster.
Yes.
It's brilliantly drawn. That whoever did it, they nailed those Soviet propaganda posters and the artwork of those. That's a brilliant piece of art.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it is very nicely, very well painted. No, I remember because obviously you're like, holy crap, like it really puts you in that Soviet element. Like, holy crap, Rocky really is out of his element because you got the crowd against him, and he's got obviously you just see the color of red with the dash of yellow everywhere, and Rocky's like the only thing in the red, white, and blue, obviously besides everyone on his side of ringside, but. Yeah, this is like the most out of him. And of course, you got the Russian or Soviet national anthem. I'm not knowledgeable on my other national anthems. I don't know if this is considered the Russia or the Soviet.
That's a Soviet national anthem. Yeah.
Soviet
It's the
national
Soviet,
anthem.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Hunt for Red October too.
And then the classic line, the other classic line, "I must break you," and then go.
I will break you.
And there you have the height difference for one of the few times in the movie.
Yeah,
Where you
don't
could see
it
that
often.
Sylvester Stallone is staring at his basically his clavicle, not much more.
I must break you.
Boom, and down come the gloves. Yeah,
I must grape you.
Yeah, it's like
I must grape you.
yeah.
I must give you the diddly.
who's scarier, Nick Drago?
Drago's much scarier.
Or Drago.
People says they're oily. Yeah, they both are very oily.
Well, they worked out like heck just before they filmed the scene too to get pumped up. I mean, but yeah, they're looking great, right? Yeah, it's believable except for the height distance. So
Well, Drago's
the height
kneeling here.
difference.
Drago's actually kneeling here.
yeah, because Stallone's a middleweight anyway, naturally.
Yeah,
so
he's a
I mean, the
he
last
is.
movie was 150 pounds. So
But of
I
course,
did
it's
not
an
know
unlicensed fight, so and it's allowed.
I don't know if this is
interesting.
mentioned, but on the topic of USA living in America is James Bond. Really? I feel like you have had more big songs. I mean, but that's actually shocking. Like I almost don't believe it, but I know you're not one to steer me the wrong way either. But you would think maybe his other songs would have been huge too. But hey,
I feel good. Never made it to number one.
that's what I mean.
That
Like,
astonishes me.
that's what I mean. I'll tell you what though,
Well, I
he's
think RC is
not
right,
one
you know.
to.
Ryan's always usually right. Yep. So
He's usually coming with very insightful knowledge. I don't see why he would
was-
make that up.
Wasn't the biggest crossover artist in the soul world into the Caucasian market, so
Well,
he was
Tom's
a lot
saying-
more of a
Tom-
niche artist.
Tom's backing him, I guess. He'd be surprised. No, it's just
Not like Motown. It wasn't like he was a Motown act or whatever. He was much more hardcore than that. So
Yeah.
Wow.
and it makes sense too, right? That become really popular. From everyone knows that song. Like even if you didn't know who James Brown was, or you thought he was Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live in the hot tub. I mean, this. If anyone remembers that skit, James Brown's hot tub with Eddie Murphy. Hot tub. But yeah, that would make and plus people would buy the soundtrack back then too, right? So that would definitely help it too. I mean, because back then people were actually buying records, so it was on
okay.
vinyl.
This one, I do know about that with Aerosmith. That's true. That is very true. Well, see, Aerosmith's music was definitely getting more, I could say, pop rock as time went on. So that
Yes.
I believe. That
Absolutely.
I believe.
According to the interwebs, I Feel Good only got to number 3, but still a substantial hit.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a substantial hit.
Yeah.
But
Especially
I'm
back in
still
that day.
surprised.
Yeah.
Because that is the song that I always associate with James Brown.
Yeah.
I mean,
That one
that's
and
that.
for
You
me,
say
Night
James
Train.
Brown, that's the song I hear in my head. So
Yeah, Night
yeah.
Train. I love Night Train. That's a great record.
One of the
He's got a
songs
brand
was
new
Eddie Murphy, Eat Your Heart Out.
and to go back to being boring about boxing, this is the one where Drago is a headhunter, as they call him, and he's just used to knocking people out by hitting them once in the head, and they fall over and they stay down, and he doesn't with Rocky, because Rocky, we know, has been beaten to a pulp more than once, and Rocky is doing it the way you would with a guy like Drago. He's punching to the body, which is going to take away his legs, take
all
away
he
his
could reach.
breath. Well, it's all he could reach. I mean, as I said to Mr. Redshirt, you don't chop a tree down from the top; you start down lower.
But getting inside that reach is tough as well.
And that is, and they show that in the beginning. So there is some boxing actually in the boxing scenes in this film, for all of the ridiculousness of getting hit that many times that hard. But it's just they got better at it. Somebody was paying more attention, whether it was somebody that Stallone hired to help them, and of course for the last movie, which I don't think I've ever seen, Rocky V, with Tommy Morrison. Morrison was a real heavyweight boxer. I remember watching him box, and he was a dangerous guy. So they added more and more of the boxing from the beginning of this series as they went along. And but Drago hitting him this hard, this often. Sorry,
his
no,
brain would be mush.
his head would have come off by now. Yeah, There was a Monty Python. There was a Monty Python sketch about that. His head's falling off. Oh, then we'll sew it back on for the next time. No problem. He'll be fine. He doesn't need his head. Actually, doesn't do him any good.
Right?
Oh yeah, I remember Tommy Morrison. Oh yeah, now he could hit. I remember Morrison.
Yeah, that left hook. Woo. Yes. But yeah, and that was that was. That we saw.
It has a great line from Paulie. Hit the one in the middle.
Paulie, yes.
Which kind of lightens the whole thing.
Yeah, hit the one in the middle.
Because he said he saw 3 of them. He said, "I see 3 of them. I see 3 of them." And then this is where Drago. At first he seems like invincible, and then this is where you start to see the slow turn start to happen.
He's winning. I see 3 of them out there.
Hit the one in the middle. Right. Hit the one in the middle.
I actually find that, to Redshirt's point, this is a very high energy fight and it's brilliant, but it's actually a lot less brutal than you imagine when you watch it again. And it's not. I don't think it's as brutal as Rocky 1 and 2. I mean, their faces are nowhere near as screwed up. They don't look as battered. So I think they were easing off on that a little bit. In this one, they were making it a bit less gory.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah.
But the problem is that what you hear about Drago early on with his punching power and his pressure, the punch pressure, is that he's 2 to 3 times as heavy a hitter as anybody else that's ever been measured in the heavyweight division. So Rocky's face should be coming apart, and it isn't. You're right, it's not. But so it just suggests that they decided they weren't going to show Rocky getting his face all completely torn up within the course of this fight, which again just speaks to it's a movie about boxing, not a boxing match.
I think he's a bit like Lloyd Bridges in Hot Shots. He's just had every part of his head replaced. Yeah, like he's just metal and titanium and whatever. It doesn't matter how much he gets hit. It's all been replaced.
Right.
All right, I got a direct donation here. Drago Munchausen for $5 says, I must break you. Thank you for the $5. And then we got Mr. Ordsborg. How's it going, Ords? For $2 says, bro, check your DMs. It's dope. Hail, fam. What's up, Board? Thank you for
dope
the $2.
on the web like that.
I will check it out after Toxic Tuesday. So I'll either be back to you tonight or in the morning. Thank you for the $2, my friend. Thank you. All
Yes,
right.
What kind of cream is he putting on those?
Okay.
Yes.
Now this
Says.
this is where you see the fight turn in, because that's when Drago's like, because he starts to make Drago bleed, and then all of a sudden his Drago's managers get mad. The Russian's cut. It's a bad cut. And you look, he's even stunned too. He's like, what? I think it's supposed to be cut. Like he's got the emo look at his face. He's like, come on, I'm not supposed to be cut. Like Drago looks like he's never even experienced a boo boo in his life or something. And then Duke's like, come on, see, look, he can bleed. He's still a man. Like, and then they're like, he punches like he's a piece of iron. Yeah, Drago doesn't even know what hit him.
Which I have to be honest, this man is a piece of iron. I'm like, that is the most cheesy 80s piece of dialogue. The way it's delivered, but I don't know why. I love it for all its 80s cheese.
Oh, that was a great line in the theater. And I'm uploading it right now, but it was just
he's made of iron.
Oh, it's just so good. I mean, you're cheering because that's when you know, like you're hitting the giant, right? You chopped at the giant, and you think, I mean, come on, Rocky's gonna win, but for a minute there, you just think, oh, maybe he's not gonna win, and just that the whole thing where Drago is impressed by someone that's just such great writing by Stallone.
He's like a piece of iron. I'm going to sweat on him until he rusts.
Love that line. Love that line. Yeah, and you know what, Sam, you're right. It is very 80s, but it's so good because you can really feel the momentum starting to shift now. It's like, oh crap, like he can actually hurt him, and Drago's not happy about that because he was expecting this to be a slaughter fest, maybe 1, maybe 2 rounds. Drago wanted this to be a clean sweep. That's all he wanted out of this. He wanted to destroy him early on, and for this not go beyond that. And he thought he was going to destroy Rocky, so he underestimated what Balboa can do. And also, this is where you can see the match getting personal too, because now it's because they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, obviously, in a legal match. Obviously, this would call for a proper disqualification, but this is more than just, it's almost like a no holds barred equivalent of wrestling, but with boxing.
Well, I said when we were watching this earlier this evening that Rocky must have learned something from Hulk Hogan in their exhibition match.
Thunder lips.
Yes. But yeah, you're right. And one of the things that struck me, and that they didn't, and I don't know why Sylvester Stallone didn't write this into the script, because they did write it into Rocky 3, where you're going to go up against this guy, and he's not been in late rounds. He's always knocked people out early. And if you can get him into the later rounds, he's going to be out of his element. And and they should have had that here with Drago, because there's no way Drago's ever gone beyond 3 rounds with anybody.
Amateur, right? Amateur fight.
Yeah, as an amateur, I'm sure he knocked people out in the first 3 rounds. I doubt he ever went a full fight even as an amateur. So there's a thing about pacing
for him.
It's uncharted territory, and it's about pacing. It's about
he doesn't know how to handle it. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to handle it. So yeah, there is something to be said for Rocky, who's been 15 rounds multiple times against really good boxers like Apollo Creed. And he's had to conserve enough of himself that in the 15th round,
he's not a machine. He's a man.
He's a man. There you go.
He's not RoboCop. Yeah,
he's not RoboCop. We already did that one.
Right, we did that one, right? Yeah.
That was
We're
horrific
getting
to look at.
let him into StreamYard, Nick.
I've given Mark too much power.
I have the
Mark
power.
is drunk on power. This is what I did. I
gotta
let him
try
have
to
it.
stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble.
And I love this line in the movie too. This is great. You know, when we're talking about that scene, but yeah, he's it's like you can break him. You can break him. Yep. And then Drago was just psychologically broken there on the other side. So that's why that works so well. You know, you're just cheering like crazy, like, oh, this is awesome.
Drago's given him his best already, and he hasn't got any more tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Drago. He's
Right.
Now
nothing
we know
else.
Drago is a guy who blows his wad early. Confirmed.
That's another way to put it.
But it's a big wad.
I didn't say that
It's
in
a
the
very
movie.
big wad, but yeah, it's gone.
Yes, it's a Randy Marsh
You
at
could blow
California
someone's head
Wave
off with that.
wad. No, have you ever seen that South Park episode where Randy Marsh and the family need some internet, so they go to California Way to get some internet, and he blows a big wad at the end of the episode? That was his Ivan Drago wad. That's what that was. So anyone who knows South Park in the chat, you'll know what I'm talking
Anyone
about.
that's got a meme with an exploding head would.
He's like a piece of iron. He's like
What?
iron.
I think Drago would kill most of us, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Just
no
by
question.
looking at us, just look at us and we'd die.
Yeah.
We could stare at Ivan Drago, we die. It'd be like staring at Chuck Norris. It just the fight wouldn't happen.
You can't even look at Chuck Norris. Don't even look.
No, I don't. I actually, I'm on the side. You guys can't see, but I have a Chuck Norris calendar by this webcam, and the line it says is Chuck Norris is the only person who can punch a cyclops between the eyes. That's on my calendar for the month of June.
That's awesome.
For the win.
Chuck Norris facts.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And that's supposed to be Mikhail Gorbachev too, minus the
It is.
birthmark. If
It is.
Right.
For you
In
youngins
fact,
out
that
there,
guy
looks
played
just
him,
like
in some other film or show. I can't remember what it was, but he has been in other shows as Gorbachev.
Yeah, he's
And
probably
interesting
the
thing,
best.
too,
He's
I
probably
was
the
just
best.
gonna say, Gorbachev brought down the excuse me, Soviet Union to glasnost, and that was the
Yeah,
change
it
was
like
coming
that.
too with Gorbachev. So it's an interesting, as we get to the end speech. But go ahead.
Oh, I know what he's in.
Yeah.
I think isn't he in the Rocky? Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes video. If you've ever seen that. Anyway, that's beside
No,
Anyway,
it's okay. Because this fight is obviously you see the hits line. They're showing bits and pieces of each round. You see Rocky, he's holding on, and he's obviously taking quite a beating. But when he dishes back hard, and obviously Drago is infuriated. He's shooken by the fact that this is still happening because this was not supposed to go this way. And look at their faces.
He's gonna
And
knock
then-
his eyeball out there.
And
It's
then,
like,
and then a sweaty
He's gonna give it
chest.
Forrest Whitaker lazy eye
That's
right
what they're
there.
screaming at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at his chest. Look at those moves.
those aren't implants.
No.
And the Gorbachev's looking at the other guy next to him, wondering, how soon can I execute him?
You would be a great asset in a salt mine.
That's right. We have a gulag waiting for you.
Oh man! Oh, was he really
Yeah.
imitating Genesis?
RC knows the
way.
video
Oh,
I'm
that's
talking
right, yeah,
about.
yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Land of Confusion, isn't it? Land of Confusion?
Yeah, he's
I
in
had to
that.
look at that. Okay, I'm looking
Puppet
at
Two
one.
Tribes.
The puppet one, right?
Yes.
The
Oh,
Genesis
what-
puppet one.
That's
Or was
Land
that
of
Really?
Phil
Confusion.
Collins?
Okay,
No, that was Genesis.
That's Genesis.
Genesis. I haven't seen that video in a long time. I got to rewatch it. Okay, that is awesome. And
Back
and
when
Chuck,
videos were awesome. Yeah.
you know what? I know Chuck Norris hated all those, but you know what? It was amazing. And yes, he did ruin that flat top. And you know what? He had it coming. So, and that's where you know what he deserves even more than the flat top being ruined is when the crowd starts to turn on Drago and they are cheering on Rocky Balboa in Russia. That is like you could feel the tension like in your heart like escalate. You can feel the emotions are getting really real when and then they're like, "Hey, Rocky, They're cheering for you, man. They're cheering for you.
Yeah, one of the commentators says suddenly Moscow is pro Rocky.
I think this is the same guy. It's supposed to be Gorbachev and Reagan.
No.
In the two tribes video. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
him. Yeah.
It does look like him. Yeah.
I think it is him. Yeah. Because that was his thing for a while. I guess he's out of a career now, but
Yeah.
He could impersonate Trudeau. They're almost in the same level, I think.
Or Castro.
Dude,
Castro.
Yeah.
Castro.
Oh my God! Now that Drago's hair is down, he kind of reminds me of that one kid from the Little Rascals, because like the rest of his hair goes down, but the one part just still stays up.
Oh yeah, with the cowlick in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell
Was
is it? What's his name?
Alfalfa.
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 Yeah.
That's
And
it.
Drago looks like Jaws from James Bond
Yes.
right there, doesn't he?
He does. That's Richard Keel. That
And
would-
Dolly
yeah,
had
Richard
braces,
Keel.
right? Dolly had braces. We were talking about that
Dolly
today.
had braces, I agree.
Yeah.
I know it
Weren't
says
you in
she
the
didn't
movie
have-
theater? I could have sworn Dolly, not the side rail, this to the Dolly had braces.
had braces.
I remember seeing the brace. So either the Matrix got messed up or something happened, but I could have sworn. And my DVD doesn't have it. I got to find an old VHS
And
tape.
you
But
gotta
that's
find
another,
the VHS.
that's
yeah.
another time for another
Mandela
discussion. But
effect,
everyone remembers it though.
Yeah, she had braces.
Weren't you in the movie theater 70s?
Yeah, I saw it in the movie theater, and that was the whole point. She smiled, and he saw
Had
that
braces.
she looked exactly like him. She had braces. So
Yeah.
what they've done to take them out of the movie, I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it was just our simulation we're in. Just there was a glitch.
There was a
You mean
glitch.
Moonraker?
Yeah,
Moonraker, yeah.
Yeah, she had braces.
she had
No,
braces. Yeah,
no, none of we cannot find a
no
copy.
one can
of
find
Dolly
a
with-
picture of her.
I
Oh no,
braces.
in the
heard
theater.
about
Okay,
this.
but in the
Oh,
theater she had
God.
braces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Forget
Nick.
Rocky. This is the
I've heard
conversation.
this
Yeah,
we
we're
need
going back to
have.
Rocky now,
go
folks.
back to
Don't-
Rocky,
pay no
yeah.
attention to the man behind the curtain.
We'll
gonna
talk about it
solve
on
this
Sunday
one-
Night Geekery. We'll all come on
Yes.
Geekery. We'll have a
Come on to
two-hour
Sunday night, and
discussion.
we'll talk about this.
Yeah.
All right, back to the fight.
Yeah.
Now,
Bobby proved it, according to Darius. What fight?
No, don't you dare, 70s. Don't you dare.
There's a fight?
We'll
Yeah,
start
so-
now.
And then they're getting to the 12th round.
Ouch.
And
Oh,
because
see,
you-
that's not fair. He's being punched twice, one from either side. Come on. That's just not fair. This is like top secret now or something. Yeah, it's a naked gun.
Oh, crap.
American Rocky's punching him like this.
Oh. No, if Dolph Lundgren was he would have definitely had the stone coldness of
He would've,
he definitely would have. He absolutely would have. I don't know if the role would be as memorable, but he definitely, as far as being a stone cold presence, he definitely would have gotten the job
Yeah,
done.
and he had an
would've.
accent as well. He's Swedish. He's got that kind of accent, so it would
Yeah.
be. It would have been. He would have been good.
And here it is. Yeah. Here's that crowd going wild. And this is where Rocky unleashes Hell Hath No Fury. And it's glorious seeing it because it's just like, holy crap. He finally gives Drago a 1A, a taste of his own medicine. What he did to Apollo, Drago's doing to him, obviously, without the death included.
And
But,
as Redshirt says, it's only now that Stallone Rocky remembers how to dodge.
Yeah.
He dodged a few punches earlier on, first round.
Yeah, not many.
Catcher's mitt.
Or catcher's mitt. Yeah, actually, it was a catcher's mitt. But yeah, the 15th round is where Rocky suddenly starts to look like the boxer he was in Rocky 3. And it really confuses Drago because Drago's been expecting him to be standing in front of him as he has been for the whole fight. And all of a sudden, Rocky's moving back and forth. His head's not there. He's missing punches. And it's a whole different thing. And so what I would say with that is it's believable that the tide of the fight turns in the 15th round. The mental game has already been established. Drago has already said he's like a machine. He's made of iron. And Rocky's been told he's human. He bleeds. He's not a machine. So you've got Rocky doing his signature. I'm the world's biggest heavy bag, until the 15th round. And then it's now all of a sudden Rocky's harder to hit and he's punching back. And Drago's never been in the 15th round. I would be willing to bet. Oh, yeah, this guy. This is a great moment where he just picks him up. It's like, I don't want to hear from you.
I fight for me. I fight for me.
Yeah, and his wife there is still yelling at him. No, let him down.
We don't want to live in Siberia.
We don't want to go to Siberia. Exactly.
Well, Rocky trained there. It must be good.
That's why Paulie has that great line about, at least we don't keep our people behind walls with machine guns in the pre-fight.
He's the unsilent majority. Who are you?
Yeah.
Unsilent majority.
Yeah.
And that in the Soviet Union, that actually in the Soviet Union would have been, had it happened in the 80s, that would have been essentially an insurrection in the middle of a boxing ring. To say, I do it for me. No, you do it for the people. The state, the people. Well, you did it for the state because they're the ones that send you to Siberia, but you'd say you did it for the people. Yeah. But yeah, that is a declaration that a Soviet would not make, not unless they wanted to go to prison. So yeah, there's a change coming over this fight, and it's the politics are getting more and more into this as the fight comes to an end.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're rooting for Rocky now. Yep,
they're rooting for Rocky now. Drago is finally respects him. He has to, and it's two guys in the ring. One of them is going to win. Hopefully, they hope. It's possible for a tie, but there's no way that the Russian judges would give it a tie.
Also, that's the guy from Trouble with Tribbles. When he calls the Enterprise a garbage scow.
Shout out to Clobbering Times. Hail, sir. Thank you for dropping in here. And then the beating. Yeah, Drago, you can get a beating too. Just watch me now. See all that stuff I learned in Rocky 3? I'm going to do it the last minute. Because because Rocky knows how to hold on to his wad.
Clubby, Dolly had braces.
No! We're not doing this.
Drago doesn't have braces.
No.
He will now. He'll need them.
Nick is going to send.
He'll need them now.
Yeah. Drago's the right hand. He uses the right hand on him, and then the left.
You know what though? As much as people give this movie shit because Rocky takes so much brain damage for so many rounds, I do kind of like the fact they somehow managed to work that in as part of the central plot for number 5. That was, despite Rocky 5 having a whole bunch of flaws, that was kind of a clever use of hey, what about that plot hole from 4? Oh yeah, let's make that a plot line for number 5. So.
I mean, you couldn't go through your entire career fighting like Rocky and not come out with some kind of ill effect.
Oh God, no, yeah.
Maybe we'll have to eventually do a 1-on-5 in Balboa down the line. Maybe we'll have to just look back and see what we may finish a proper A, and also B, maybe see what we may respect about it now or not respect about it now.
I'll have to reassess 5 and watch it again, reassess it, because I've always seen it as the Highlander 2 of Rocky, but not that there's ever such a movie. Not that there was ever a movie called Highlander 2 ever. It
does not exist. No, it doesn't exist.
That's a figment of your. That's a figment of your imagination. Damn it.
If it had braces, that would be different.
Finish him. I'm thinking. Video game,
Finish him.
The fight is fun to watch. It's fun. I mean, it's totally ridiculous fight, but it's super fun to watch.
It's great high energy fight.
Yeah.
High energy, high stakes. I mean, once that's I like. He disobeyed. Everyone's like, "Oh crap!" He's actually gonna knock the giant down. That's what I love. It feels like a triumphant win.
Yes.
I remember like I was jumping like off my couch as a kid when he beat him. I was like, hell yeah, like he won, like holy crap. He's actually gonna win, like it just
in
it
one
felt like
stroke, he'll end the Cold War.
yes, D-Bud, finish him. Yeah, and then the Cold War's over.
Yeah, nuclear.
Well, his government
we talk
shoot
about-
wife.
we talked about
Shoot wife.
we talked about how this is an exciting fight, and it's not that it is too high energy; it's that it goes on too long for that level of energy.
Yeah.
There is a real fight. Hagler Hearns, middleweights, one round that reminds me of this fight, except this fight is 15 rounds. But it is insane, and it was like there's no way both of these guys are going to finish the second round. One of them is going to be gone, and they do. It can happen. Doesn't happen very often, and it's usually very punishing to both fighters. But this is a 1 round fight that went 15 rounds basically, and like I said, Rocky finally remembers in the end. Oh yeah, that's right. Apollo taught me to duck. And he does, and all of a sudden he's able to slip punches and counter punch, and it's a whole different fight for 1 round at the very end. But yeah, it's and I love the look. The look.
guys.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets
Gulag
better
guys.
with Gorbachev there, and the guy who's in charge of the boxing program.
Signaling the Stasi. Take this.
Yeah.
Take this man's bollocks off.
Yes. He needs to leave now.
You have an appointment. At Chernobyl.
Yes.
Chernobyl drop off.
Yeah, he needs to go to the Lubyanka. There's a committee waiting for him there.
And of course, then the speech, guys. Just remember, you can change too. Yeah, I love it. It definitely feels very like impactful. Like, no, obviously, because politics gets in the way of so much bullshit in the world. It really divides the hell of us, and he's just like the guy who's trying to bring human beings together. It's freaking awesome to see that. It's definitely and I feel like this scene alone would not happen in a minor. I know we say all that a lot about what would and what wouldn't happen in a movie, but I feel like a scene that's too unifying is a very big problem for Hollywood. The last thing they want is for people to be of different sides of anything and actually be coming together. Yeah, it would not fly whatsoever. But I love this scene, and it's a hell of a great ending. And you don't need anything really. The only thing I could have wanted maybe a little bit more of was to see Apollo's wife. How did she react to Rocky avenging his husband? That's the only thing if you had just add even just like 2 minutes of that, I would have been like, okay, perfect. You don't need to have a whole 5 minutes, because we obviously saw her react to the death, the funeral, and they nailed that aspect down. I just feel like we need just to see like her husband's loss wasn't in vain type of thing. Other than that, I still love the hell of this movie, and I still stand by what I said when I said this is my favorite Rocky movie. It's still gonna get a super high as fuck score. And yes, Small Time Republic, Top Gun Maverick is very unifying for a change, even though it's not from an out of country element. But I get what you're saying. Yes, it is in that regards. And hey, there's Sam. But all right, well, I guess as this movie starting to close off its scenes, I want in the chats, anyone who knows the scores, you know what to do. In case you are somehow new to Toxic Tuesday, I think it's all familiar phrases tonight. But in case you are new, we rate the movie in toxicity, and then we rank the movie of 1 to 10 also in greatness. So 1 to 10 for each. If you want to do whatever's your made-up score, we will do that as well. That was explaining Creed 2, says Deleted Scenes. Ooh. All right. Some more details. See? They pick up the plot. They love you! Look at that face. Yes, he hears him from a whole other side of the world. And you know what? We'll start off with our guest for tonight. Sam, where do you rank this movie out of 1 to 10?
Just because I love it so much, and I'm so glad you invited me to review this movie. I would say I would honestly say like 7. It's
Okay.
not picked, but it ranks pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Wrong screen. Sorry, guys. 7. Okay. All right. Well, no. Do you spy any toxicity in this movie? If you do, 1 to 10, where do you rank it? 1 to 10 in toxicity?
In terms of toxicity, definitely probably a 10 because
Ooh.
it's pro America, it's anti, communist, it's anti woke. It was made in the 80s, and Hollywood people hate the 80s and anything having to do with Reagan or pro Americana. So yeah, as far as, I mean, I'm not joking. This movie has a little been called pro Reagan propaganda, and my response to that is, and what's the problem with that?
Great point.
So
Okay. All right. Got your scores. Well, then, Sam, thank you for your scores. 70s.
Yeah, interesting. For one thing, there's a lot less homoeroticism in it. In fact, the only homoeroticism is from the replays of Rocky 3, which is a shame. I felt they could have done with a bit more of that.
We had the Paulie kiss.
We did have the Paulie kiss, that's true, yeah.
And we had Sweaty Duke. We had a Sweaty Duke a few times.
No, and everyone loves a sweaty Duke. I mean, it's
Duke. So wrong.
So it's funny because when I watched Rocky 3 again, I found I valued it a lot more than I used to. That is, I thought it was a lot better watching it last time a couple of weeks ago than I'd remembered. I think watching this one again, I actually found I liked it a little bit less than I thought I did. If that makes any sense. Not that it's not a good movie, but I just think it was perhaps getting a little bit repetitive in the formula now, and there's sort of holes you could drive a Soviet tank through in it as well. I love the montages and the fight and whatever, but I thought flimsy. It was a little bit flimsy other than that. So I would probably say 7.5 out of 10 as a movie. And toxicity, I was going to give it a fairly low score, but Sam's actually kind of changed my mind a bit thinking about that. Because if you tried to make this now, you've got pro-American, lots of flags, anti-communism. You've got a white guy killing a black guy in the ring. There's a lot of shit in here that would never happen now. So I'm actually going to give it an 8 out of 10 for toxicity. Whereas before I was going to give it a lot less. Sam changed my mind.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read a few of these scores in the chat, and then we'll get on to one of the panels. Vince Womack here, score 8 out of 10. Toxicity, 2 limp dicks out of 10. Boosh, 6 out of 10. All that toxic. Overall, 7 out of 10. Zen Zoltan, movie 9 out of 10. Toxicity 3. Happy birthday, Paulie. If he dies, he dies. And then Sentient Dildo says movies a 60 out of 69. Toxicity 56 out of 69. And homoeroticism 61 out of 69. And then Stephen Ransom, Toxics 10. Greatness 8 out of 10. Americana 1,000 out of 10. All right. And now, Mark. Why don't you go ahead and...
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Got it. I love this movie, so I'm giving it 9.5 because it's one of those movies I got to see with my dad in the movie theater. He wanted to go see this, and the politics of the time too were just, as I said before, it was just a huge deal, and he came from Europe, and not a fan of the Soviet Union, and I think we can all be proud that our country's not perfect. Excuse me, but we have a lot more freedom than people in the Soviet Union ever did. So, the people were good, a lot of good people, and it's government. So that message in the end there, where Rocky, pulls the people together. I mean, today maybe some people might even say that's a woke message, but that that Reagan didn't want to destroy the Soviet Union. He wanted to end their threat to democracy, and you can see what's happening, now with Russia and Ukraine, and we're not getting into that politics, but that's just kind of the zeitgeist of the way the world was feeling back then. So there was a lot of criticism for the U.S., but like Paulie said, we weren't keeping our people behind walls of machine guns. So that's why I just, love this movie and the toxicity. Yeah, I can see there's it's an anti-toxic movie. People, Reagan finally got credit for helping to, win the Cold War, and everyone kept saying Reagan was going to start the next war, and it showed through strength. And Rocky's strong in this movie. It symbolizes the strength of the U.S. And one of the Soviet guys keeps saying he's soft, he's weak. You can break him. He's it just shows if you really fight back and you're really strong, Drago's he's not really a bully in this movie, but that's kind of the the idea. You're fighting back against a bigger person. You're not going to take any crap. So that's what I love about this movie, and the movie theater experience too. If you had that, back then in 85, 86 when this was out, that's a whole nother level. As good as our home theaters are today, it just can't compete with being in a crowded theater with everyone cheering like you're actually watching the fight. So yeah, I give it 9.5 and 8 for toxicity. And now I better go work out in my gym in the basement because that place heart's on fire, right? So,
well, maybe this time it's a burning heart. Maybe, and there's no easy way out this time.
So if I don't make the next Toxic Tuesday, you'll know why, because I broke my back or something.
Yes. All right, Mark. Well, thank you. I'm gonna read off a few more of these before we move on over to Redshirt.
Oh, and I got to play this last clip here.
Play it.
And you can change.
Вы можете измениться.
Everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
Play the underwear.
Rob Altus, 8 out of 10 toxicity, 7.5 overall. And then we got Zan Zoltan here. Movie 9-10, toxicity 3. Happy birthday, Paulie out of 10. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, I got that. Phantom Outsider, 8 out of 10 of 10 on toxic communist Russians cheering for American who benefited from capitalism plus the robophobia about Paulie's new lifestyle choice. Randy in the ring. 9 out of 10 toxicity, 8 out of 10 homoerotica. Mr. Tom Connors here. Not as homoerotic as 3, so it's about 8 and a 3.
That's 8 long and 3 wide, Tom. Is that what you mean?
And then Eternal Vigilance. Overall, 9 out of 10. Why? One of the greatest crowd responses in a movie theater I've ever experienced. I believe. I wish I was your guys' age when this came out. And then Toxicity, 8 out of 10. You'd never see a movie like this today. Pro male, super male vitality on full display. Dart Scipio, Jingle Factor 10, overall good, 7 out of 10. Fun film overall. Boosh, I give it 7. Grease Up Meatheads out of 10. The Peter Venkman fan size, 7 out of 10. Toxicity, 4 out of 10. Homo, 10 out of 10. Teen Spirit, 9 out of 10. Movie, 10 out of 10. Oily Dudes. Eric K, I give it a warm apple pie, which I love, but I love warm apple pie with vanilla bean ice cream batter. Still could eat it anytime. And an RC from the NYC. 9 out of 10 toxicity, 8.5 out of 10 overall. A solid continuation of the franchise with a killer soundtrack. I back that comment like crazy, sir. I think we got a few more. And Redshirt, well, I have a few more. Go ahead and tell us your numbers.
Okay. On toxicity, politically, in its era, this is got to be at least a 9 out of 10. You're right. This couldn't be watched. It couldn't be shown today. Never mind made. There would be a Twitter campaign to cancel this movie if they tried to release it now. But it isn't my favorite of the first four Rocky movies. And I'm just going to have to go with a 7.5 out of 10 for the movie because it's a good movie, but it's not my favorite movie.
Okay. Well, all good, dude. I mean, I stand by my sentiments, but we're all good here. And
I will break you.
Claudia pitched a great comment earlier. I may have missed it. That for Dumb Rocky 4 trivia. Thank you, Claudia. The Star Trek connection with Michael Pataki, the guy who played Drago's boss, was the Klingon that Scotty punched in The Trouble with Tribbles. So and that's when he threw into the audience when the fight was starting to turn. So thank you, Claudia, for the added insight. And then Klobby says movie 9.5, toxicity 8.5, and then the weight down 8 wide, 3 long. That's what he meant 70s. All right. And then for me, yours truly, I'm going to go with a strong 9.7 for this movie. Like I said, my one complaint was just having Apollo's wife. I would love to have seen her reaction post-fight. Just a quick minute or two would have been nice. But who knows what happened there. But I love the hell out of this movie. And maybe you could accuse me of nostalgia. Fine, I'll own it if that's what you see it as. But I love the fight. I love the tension. I love the stakes in this movie. And the montages. This movie is on montage roids. So because of the montageness, the sweet, oily, sweaty men involved, it's going to get an 8.5 on toxicity, 9.7 for the movie. I love this movie. And that, guys, is Rocky IV, and this is him on the mud. Drago! So to that, guys, I thank you all for tuning. The fact that we still have a big crowd here after all this time, that says a lot. So you guys clearly must have been enjoying the show. Next week, and for the next few weeks, I should say, we're going to be hitting some animation territory for our few movies. So hopefully, for those of you who like animated stuff, some will be in the 2D, some will be in the, claymation style. You will see. So next few weeks, it'll be the road to number 50 is on. And I can't give away 49 and 50. But next week, we're going to go to a very barbaric animated movie. Some of you in the chat may have heard of Heavy Metal.
Bambi. The most hideous barbaric movie ever made. Animated movie. Sorry, mate.
I gotta watch clipping that one.
Oh, right.
Mads might make another appearance.
Heavy Metal.
Yes.
Good
Heavy
stuff.
Metal.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch that one.
Yeah. Tom will be back next week for that. I can't tell right now. Tom will be at Heavy Metal next week. It's going to be great. And that will be episode 48. And I'm sure you guys are going to be absolutely stoked with 4950. And hey, wait, Don, why don't you come on next week for that? Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah.
He's never seen Heavy Metal?
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
And Thomas saying, I just bought the 4K version, which is glorious. I think the biggest improvements in the sound, actually.
Yeah, I've never seen
I got
Heavy
that
Metal
too,
either.
Mark.
It's so good. I can't wait. So, it seems like
too bad we can't play the music, though.
Oh, it is.
That is such a shame.
Man.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal next week. It's going to be awesome. I thank you guys. I know I got a few new subs tonight for the show. Thank you.
Nice.
All the familiar faces, I thank you as well. To a few of the new faces, thank you. To all the super chats, direct donations. God, you guys are generous tonight. I thank the hell out of you. And for any of you who just hung out for a little bit, a portion, half, majority, all of it, I thank all of you guys for joining us. Once again, you have many great options, but you chose us. So I thank you very, very much. And I know I speak on behalf of the panel when I say that. Thank you. Seriously, you spent your time with us tonight for 2 hours talking about Rocky IV. And I hope to see as many of you back here for Heavy Metal next week, because next week is going to be fucking crazy when we talk that movie. I cannot wait. And, Andy, thank you. Seriously. This is going to be the part where we plug in the channels. I'm going to start with the man who keeps the visuals going. Our man, Mark D with a C, who gets the Toxic Tuesday producer title, sir.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say.
Thank you. Well, it was just my birthday and Father's Day over the weekend, so look what I got, 4K.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So I got to watch that
Nice.
and blast that. Hopefully the kids won't say that I'm playing the movie too loud. That's happened before. But yeah, check out my channel. I'm on Thursday night with kids today. They did. I was playing the White Album, the new version. But yeah, so I'm on Clobbering Times, the Clubhouse on Thursday night. I'm going to be reviewing the Orville. Is that tomorrow night with Nerdporial Lifeform on his after show? And I'm 3D printing an Orville right now, so I do 3D printing toys reviews. Clobby's favorite, these Funkos. Yeah, just kidding, Clobbering Times. But yeah, just check out my channel. And I have to say too, if anyone subbed all my buddies here, if you do, try to watch a few minutes of every video, because if you don't, YouTube takes those subs away sometimes. So open up a new tab and watch a few minutes, because sometimes they disappear. But then my main show is Sunday Night Geekery. It's kind of like a geek week in review, and sometimes we talk about movies that are out, or usually it ends up being a discussion of food at some point too. So especially if Nick shows up, then it ends up being food. But yeah, we just have a fun hangout, and it's really was an honor to be here. Just a lot of fun, and brings back some great memories watching, especially some of these movies, if you're unfortunately old enough to have seen them in the movie theater when they came out. So just appreciate being here, and sub to all my buddies here, and Sam, was great to meet you on stream. So
And
take care.
Likewise,
Thank you.
Mark.
And Mark, thank you for all that you do for Toxic Tuesday. Seriously, this show has accelerated greatly thanks to your services, not just with the stills, but with all the animations and the faces, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun
thankful.
showing. It's a lot of fun showing this stuff like this. Yeah.
I've given this man a lot of power, but our show is so much better for all the power I've given him to have. So now it's pretty much he pretty much owns the show too. So Mark, thank you very much. And guys, please sub to Mark DUC. There's 38 of you still in here. Please sub to my friend Mark. He is more than worthy of the sub, and that is a promise. You can hold me to it. Mark, thank you very much. I will see you soon, and I cannot wait for Heavy Metal. That is going to
awesome.
be wild.
God, what a good movie.
70s.
Hey, well, I'd like to thanks once again, Nick, for doing this. This has been a blast. Another great show. Thanks to the chat. On fire tonight. I've got to echo what my buddy Mark there says. Please subscribe to everybody here tonight and watch a few minutes. Click the bell for notifications and all that good stuff. And Sam, yeah, it was great to finally get to stream with you after all this time. I don't think we've actually managed to do that before. It's good to see you, mate. Yeah, I'm teetering on the brink of 450 subscribers. It keeps going up to 449 and then back by one. Somebody's taunting me. So if anybody's got a spare subscription or two to go, just go over and just
please use all your accounts.
Yeah, use all your accounts. Yeah. Yeah, I've been quite busy recently on stuff. I put a couple of videos up in the last 3 videos up in the last couple of days. One was about the television show The Offer, which I've absolutely loved watching. So I did a little video on that. And then today I did a belated birthday video for Paul McCartney, where I talk about my 10 favourite post-Beatles McCartney albums, which was an interesting exercise going through the 687 albums he's released since then. And I mean, I could rule out 640 of them straight away. But and tomorrow I'll be Matt and from Foulball Productions and I will be also doing another live stream on The Offer, where we'll wrap up episodes 7 through 10 as we've done the other episodes before. So not sure the exact time of that. I think 4 p.m. Pacific, maybe 6 p.m. Pacific, round about then. Look out for that on Foulball. And next Mondays, it's only Talk and Roll. My show I do every 2 weeks is going to be a special on Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Nice.
With a couple of great panel members on that. So look forward to that. Thank you.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice.
Guys, that's 70s Rock Fan. That's his channel. And Tom, I saw your comment, dude. You're busy, man. I know you're slammed with Midnight's Edge stuff. When you can be around and come, I will always welcome you to come. So
Tom can always come.
Yeah, whenever he can come, it's okay. But when he can, we value the come. So thank you, sir. And 70s, I'm so glad you're a part of this journey. This has been crazy. And we're gonna get to 50. We're at to like celebrate big for number 50. We're at to like go all in for 50. It's gonna be great. I see a bad streamer rising.
Streamer rising. Well, Tom, you're welcome.
There's a bathroom on the right.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have any penises getting shut off for that one, too? Or?
Oh.
All right, Sam, Mr. Sam Whitfield of the Whitfield Report. plug in your channel, sir. What do you got coming out this week?
Gonna be having some guests on. I don't know quite who yet. I might I'm gonna be trying to do a review of the Americans perhaps this summer, because I started doing a rewatch of that series. It's highly underrated. And then I'm just gonna be covering some of the stuff with Biden and all of that crazy stuff that's been going on. If you guys haven't followed my channel before, I kind of do like a hybrid of politics and pop culture. A lot of my stuff is modeled off of Dennis Miller's old radio show. So, Nick, I want to thank you for having me on, and really for kind of being my Sherpa through this community. I mean, Gary was obviously my gateway into this community, but you've kind of been the one who has kind of shepherded me around and shown me the ropes. So I really appreciate you for doing that, and I will be sure to contribute $5 to your pizza fund, because you definitely deserve it,
dude.
So.
Oh, dude, you're good, man. Just glad I'm happy you took the time to join us, and that's pretty much ultimately what matters. I'm just thankful to have you around here, and I know it was fun hanging out with you on your channel, and I'm just glad to pass the favor back. And yes, and you got a new sub here from Mr. Delete Scenes. Thank you, Delete guys. That's Sam's channel. Sam, you have a good night. Thank you for joining us, and one day down the line, you will rejoin the Toxic Ones. All right.
Alrighty,
I just
sounds
subbed
good.
too. Yep.
And
Thank
now, one of our legendary mods, Justin of the Red Shirt.
Mark will
Oh,
like this. That's a
Yeah,
3D
very cool.
printed Luxo Jr. That's my
Yeah.
in memoriam to Disney Pixar, since they're no longer the company they used to be, and that's their logo. That was their mascot.
Yep. That was
So,
the first animated thing, wasn't it?
That's a second.
Well, second,
I have
yeah,
the
yeah.
shorts. That's the second animated short that Pixar did. They created their mascot, and he's got to be hanging his head in shame. I'll move his lamp
Put
so
him
he's looking
up, yeah.
down. But yeah, I'll be around as usual Friday night on the MFR Cocktail Lounge. I'm also going to be in the chat for Friday Night Tights, as I always am. Come on, stop by and say hello. I'll say hello back. Do my level best. I try and say hello to everybody that shows up there, even when there's 10,000 people. It gets a little hectic. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you, as always, for the invite, Nick. This is a blast. I love talking about these movies. And everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks for being in the chat. You guys are fantastic chat. So, everybody, take care. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Redshirt, and thank you for being part of this craziness that is Toxic Tuesday. I have enjoyed the hell out of having you on, and hopefully we'll have Dustin and Gary back. If not, the seats are always warm and ready for them. But Redshirt, I appreciate you, sir, and I can't wait to talk heavy metal next week.
Yeah, next week. That's definitely.
It's going to be huge. And now, guys, once again, thank you guys for doing this. This is awesome that you did it. Friday night, I got a comic shop talk show. We talk comic books, whether it's old stuff, new stuff. Sometimes we'll look at art. Sometimes we'll review a comic book story. Sometimes we'll look at the many badass suits of a character like Iron Man. That's on Friday nights. Of course, on Monday nights, I yell park cars with the Dicks Division and Comics Division channel. I'm on Midnight's Edge After Dark, right before Toxic Tuesday. And I've got a pizza video coming Thursday. I was meaning to get done last week, but I have some, let's just say, not so secret voice acting work I was doing for a certain channel. So that held up my video time. But you're going to see a pizza video and a comic book video, and those will be all within the next week. And, of course, next week for Toxic Tuesday for heavy metal. That's going to be amazing. So, seriously, guys, keep your eye out for the pizza video. It's going to be off the Stranger Things pizza that they're promoting. So I bought Stranger Things pizza. So eyes and ears open for that. Comic book video, be open up for that, because I don't always post videos. So I want to make sure when I do post them, you guys do know that they are out. Seriously, guys, thank you very much for supporting the show and for supporting this channel. Until then, this is goodbye. This is good fight. And lastly, but not leastly, and most importantly, good night, everyone.